You are listening to It Had to Be Said with Venus, presented by Realm of Mist Entertainment.
Hold on, after this yawn. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to It Had to Be Said with Venus. I am tired tonight, in case you couldn't tell.
If anybody ever wanted to know, it does transfer over Skype.
Yes. Jeez. I heard yours, and I'm like, oh, another one's coming, And we've got... Oh, stop it. We've got Christopher Stolle joining me as usual.
What's up, guys?
And we've got a new guest host on the show tonight, Anthony. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Anthony Anthem, a.k.a. Mr. A.K.A. How y'all doing?
Trust me, you don't want to run down the list of his AKAs.
Chris.
There's like 5 added every episode, and he's up to episode 56 or 57 now, so, I mean...
Okay, it isn't that bad,
guys. Some of which might get blocked by Facebook.
We got...
Are they really... They're that bad? You get blocked by Facebook?
No, but I figured it was a good segue into the subject.
Well then, by all means. So the inevitable has happened to me this week. And we've all been waiting for it. All my Facebook friends are like, oh, really? Again. Yes, again. Miss Venus Chan is blocked from Facebook on a 3-day Facebook ban.
In other news, water is wet.
Yes. Push doors you need to push to open.
What did you do?
We're going to get into that. And it's always so funny because, like, as soon as I tell people I'm on ban, it's like, oh no, what'd you do? And it's like, out of all the bad things that I've ever said on Facebook, like out of all the bad things, out of my conservatism on Facebook, out of my straight fuck you on Facebook, out of anything I could get banned for, I got banned for hate speech for a comment about men in a mom's group.
Wait, did you hate on men or did you defend men?
Oh, I fucking hated on them for this moment.
And Facebook defended that?
Oh,
wow.
You know what? I've actually... you know what? There's a little bit of conspiracy that I want to add to this because, I love conspiracies. So... what was posted was actually worse. It was actually just a comment I made on a post. So the post was actually something like, why are men attracted to slutty women and skanky women?
They put out.
So this girl's hating on women, okay? So she's like, why are men attracted to slutty women? Like, are they turned on by the fact that they could get an STD if they go to any open door? Especially when they have something good at home and blah, 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 blah. So me, of course, being me and like her hating on men, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood to hate on men too. I was like, well, to be honest with you, men are just like dogs. And when men smell another man's scent on a woman, they all want to mark their territory. Now you know.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Some of us do have the sense of just animalistic tendencies. Yes.
That's it. We want to erase the former before us as if they didn't exist. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Every guy has their fuckboy face.
It's actually scientifically proven, okay? So it's not only just that, like, my comment was directed towards men and hating on men. It's scientifically proven, okay, that if men smell like another man's scent on a woman, they get, like, they more want to, like, do something to this woman, right?
Get rid of it, yeah.
and it's comparative to a dog. Like, a dog smells a dog's pee on a fire hydrant. A dog wants to go piss on it. So how is that hate speech when it's like, well, theoretically and scientifically, this is what's up, but, and it wasn't even an opinion.
Well, the thing, like, again, going back to the meme that started it all, about men going after, why do men go after skanky and slutty women? They put out. Men are simple creatures. We may have something good at home or whatever. And, most of us learn to control our animalistic urges. But, I mean, have you ever heard the phrase, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Why put up with the headache and hardship of a woman who plays hard to get all the time, nags him, treats him like shit, or a girl who's like, look, I'm just down to fuck? Where do you think the guy's going to go?
Well, depends on the maturity level of the guy also, right? Because, in a long-term relationship, the guy's going to be like, I'm just going to wait it out,
Right, but
she may be bitchy today, but she'll be worth it tomorrow.
Right, but we're not talking about guys that are in committed relationships or guys that are married. We're talking about guys that are out prowling for pussy.
Yep.
But women are attracted to that too.
Am I going to go after? Am I going to go after the girl that's going to make me wait a year before I can finally sniff her panties? Or am I going to be banging her in her mom's car on the way to the prom?
Second one.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Like, women do this too. Like, we have Tinder, specifically for sex hookups, okay? Like, you can't tell me that it's, absurd that men want sex. Women want sex.
Wait, Tinder is for sex? It's not a dating app and social connections?
Have you not seen Family Guy? Come on here.
Mind blown.
So on top of this, if you go on Facebook, you can literally write, and you will not be banned for it because I see it all the fucking time. Men writing derogative things about women. Men writing how much of sluts women are. Men writing about their latest hookup and how much of a whore this bitch is. Men writing terrible things about women and posting terrible memes about women. And not once do I ever see this removed or banned.
You know what's funny is I'm actually going to disagree with you, because I've seen more man bashing and man hating on Facebook than I ever see of men doing the same to women. On the opposite end of the coin, though, because of the fact that I've seen more of that personally, I would almost guess that maybe Facebook wasn't the ones that banned you, but some fucktard read your comment, didn't like it, and reported you.
That's what I'm thinking too.
See, I'm thinking because, actually, I've said this before, and it got banned on this guy's. I got banned on this guy's profile, who's a friend of mine, and he actually thought it was hilarious. He's like, what the hell did you get banned for? And I'm like, well, I said this. And he's like, well, fuck. Well, it's true, And it wasn't him, and it was, limited audiences and stuff, and, it was a conversation between me and his friend and him, and it got me banned. I see, honestly, I'm not even going to play the sex card game, okay, and say that he's worse than she is and blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I see, a limit, somewhat of man bashing, men and their toxic masculinity, or, simple stuff like that. But I honestly see, vagina memes, really, disturbing vagina memes about, slutty women that pop up, quite often. And it's, everyone's laughing. Everyone's got a sense of humor about it. But was it, at the end of the day, was it, sexist of Facebook to ban me because of that? Or, okay, so here's, where the conspiracy comes in. So, I've read a few articles that Facebook is actually protecting Muslim rights, okay? So, women don't have rights, pretty much, in this community, right? And this is all, you can find articles on this. I'm totally going off conspiracy now, because it's was it really the sexism, or was it this? And so Muslims, they hate dogs. They're dirty animals to them. Their angels can't enter where dogs live. So they used to have like dog parks in Canada. They closed them down because now like Muslims want to hang out there and it offends Muslims. So was it the comparison between a man and a dog that got me banned?
I don't know. Like, it's a hard thing to say because, again, I mean, go on my ex-wife's profile and track back to when her and I separated and the year following our separation, and take a look at all the nasty shit she said on me. And I mean, there were some things I wouldn't whisper to a sailor, you know, because he would be offended. And she never once even got a strike or anything else. There's a couple things here. One, I still firmly believe that somebody, some cockstain took offense to what you said and reported you, and Facebook took a look at it. And let's be fair, you post a lot of shit that winds up putting you in Facebook jail. They probably have you on some sort of watch list.
Yeah, right. Am I a targeted individual?
You might be. You might be like a repeat offender type list or something, where they're constantly
but not for
monitoring.
hate speech.
No, but constantly monitoring what you post.
Yeah, I see.
Like Anthony.
See, most of my bans are all for nudity. So to have a hate speech ban all of a sudden is like, well, you know, maybe you just couldn't get me for posting nudity because really, like, quite literally, there's no nudity anywhere. So did they just not like me? Does Facebook have a boner for me? What's that?
I wish I could say the same. I probably got a dick pic or two floating around the internet somewhere.
Look, every other day I get a private message on Facebook Messenger by some fucking, you know, Iranian cockstain trying to tell me they can promote my podcast, or some
you too?
Yeah, or some bogus ass bot fucking girl trying to, you know, sex me up by getting me to give my credit card number to some, you know, third party fucking website. Like, Facebook needs to be monitoring this type of shit and quit worrying about what people are posting on their personal fucking shit. Let's be real about that.
Facts.
Yeah, like this is it's bullshit that they did this to you, regardless of the reason. I don't think it's so much of a conspiracy theory in this particular instance. That being said, though, it is petty and trivial that they would even do that, considering that they deny they do this, but they silence conservative point of view. They silence anything that doesn't fit with their political points of view. They silence anything that anybody turns around and says, I'm offended by, but they don't fucking police the things they should be policing on this goddamn site. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, either, just like with everything else in this world, either everything is allowed or make clear-cut rules on what is not allowed. Because let's be fair, they're labeling what you posted about men and dogs, which that's been said long before social media was even a thing. Let's be fair here.
In a mom's group, so it's all females.
And they're labeling that hate speech, but they only gave you a 3-day ban. That seems pretty light for something that's quote-unquote hate speech.
Well, the thing is, when you get banned, like, it starts off with, typically, like, for nudity, you'll get a 24-hour ban. For repeat offenders, then you'll get a 3-day ban, and then you'll get, like, 2 3-day bans, and then you'll get a 7-day ban, and then you'll get a 30-day ban. Like, I am in the 30-day ban club, okay?
That's fucked up. I got banned for a week for promoting the podcasts.
Oh, me too. Really? That happened to me last week.
I because I was posting, you know how I do. I usually promote the shows I release them. I share them onto my page, onto the Realm of the Mist official page, the fan pages, promote your podcast page, places like that. I guess I did it too many times in a short amount of time that they considered me a risk and banned me for 7 days for promoting my business.
Wow.
And that is ass clownery 101.
Yeah. Right?
We're business friendly, independent business friendly, but don't promote your shit too fast.
Oh, like this one time.
Can't keep up with it.
Yeah, so this one time, and it was for Hugh Hefner's like after he passed away, in memory of Hugh Hefner on his birthday, they wanted you to go find a picture of the Playboy magazine of the year, of the month and the year and you were born. So everyone's doing this, right? And I made this post public, so like people don't even know are commenting on this, you know, and having a good time, like, you know, like, hail Hugh, and you know, like one of those things. And so along comes mine, and my birthday was March of 1990. And guess who was on the cover of Playboy magazine that month?
No idea.
Donald fucking Trump.
Okay, first of all, before you get started on Donald Trump, I got to... Okay, I'm done. Never mind.
Greatest issue
greatest
ever. Totally unbelievable. Trust me, a lot of people have said it, that March 1990 was the greatest cover ever. It just totally
And you know
was.
what? Oh, there was no fucking nudity on this thing. Absolutely
God, I hope not.
no nudity. There's Donald Trump with a girl in a like fucking like, oh, what do you call them? She's like wearing a top, like a tube top that goes like down over her ass, like the Playboy type of fucking get up that you normally see, like Playboy bunnies dressed in when they're have their little tail on and their little ears on and stuff. Completely fucking covered. And Facebook turns around and says, oh, your post goes against community standards. And I'm like, why? Because it's Donald Trump, or because it's this fucking chick is hotter than you ever will be, fucking Mark Zuckerberg?
Wait a minute. This literally proves my point. You were participating in something that Facebook did to honor Hugh Hefner, and you posted the cover of the monthly issue that came out of the year you were born. And because of that Donald Trump, you got hit with an inappropriate thing. But how many memes and pictures were going around of the naked Donald Trump statue, or the crybaby Donald Trump blow up a parade blimp that was in Europe? Nobody said shit about that. That literally proves my point.
My retinas, by the way. I'm trying to forget that.
So am I. But the point being is, this is okay. But a normal picture of Donald Trump, because he doesn't fit their political point of view, is inappropriate. This is my point of them. Right? This is my absolute point of them silencing political points of view, personal points of view, religious points of view that they don't share.
Right? That's exactly it. Like, look at that, like, was he, a soccer player or something from Australia that posted a Bible verse on his Twitter, and they shut down his Twitter for hate speech. What? Are you fucking kidding me? It's a Bible verse, okay? Like, get the fuck over
somebody quoted the Quran. So, I mean, what the hell should it make? People should be able to have their type of religious freedom. What the fuck? It's Facebook.
Isn't that part of the freedoms of the United States?
Part of the freedoms of Canada too, but here we go, and we're all being fucked by Zuckerberg. We're all getting zucked.
Freedom of speech and freedom of religion are both protected, aren't they not?
That Mother Zucker.
Yeah, Mother Zucker, exactly.
Right? They're not protected because it doesn't fit into the fucking mindset or whatever. Like, what the hell? Is this like New World Order shit coming down? Like, it's coming down to this, like, on social media, on a free platform. It's like, we're going to censor you, we're going to take this away, and we're going to take away your right to post and shut you right the fuck up. And there's nothing you can do about it because, you know, we've got fucking Looney Tunes running over there and doing fucking crazy ass shit that, you know, you're going to offend them. And, you know, I don't want to deal with their shit. Like, what?
Look, there's plenty you could do. MySpace still exists.
Oh, God.
MySpace still exists. Look, have you seen a picture of Mark Zuckerberg? I'm telling you, the whole entire reason Facebook is going through this shit is because fucking daddy Lieutenant Commander Data didn't hug him enough. I'm telling you, that boy looks like an android. Tell me he don't.
Oh, my God.
Look at a picture. Google it right now. Look up a picture of Lieutenant Commander Data from Star Trek The Next Generation and tell me that ain't fucking Mark Zuckerberg's daddy. Okay.
Oh my God! Did you see the video about Mark Zuckerberg?
Go ahead and reflect on your sins for that comment, sir.
Yeah, I shouldn't insult Data like that.
Daddy, forgive me for I have sinned. No, this is not how it works. Bad girl.
How many Hail Toms do I have to say?
Brazzers.
Well,
me,
speaking
Steve.
of porn,
Bless me, Steve Jobs, for I've sinned.
so you know, Pornhub actually protects more of your rights than Facebook does.
Oh, Pornhub is just basically social media with porn.
Yeah, but you know what
So's
though?
Tumblr.
I don't
They
know.
actually-
Tumblr's out of the game on that one now.
I heard they're trying to get it back though. I heard there's a
better.
petition
They're
trying to
losing
get the pornography back to it.
Yeah, Pornhub is running that.
Yep. I mean, shit,
All hail to
you can get video
Pornhub.
game advice on freaking Pornhub now. From what I saw, some screenshots.
How do I make my noodles not stick when I boil my spaghetti? Oh, just toss in a few tablespoons of olive oil. Like, yeah.
And while
Pornhub
you're-
has a great community.
and while you're waiting for that water to boil, enjoy this threesome anal seepage.
Did you just say anal seepage?
I did. Some people
You
have weird,
fucking did.
some people have weird fetishes.
It's like,
I
oh,
wanna
here's
know
the
how you-
Prolapse Anus channel.
Like, how do you even know this exists? Is what I want to know.
Hey, just
You don't
remember,
just randomly come across this.
hey, just remember there was a former podcaster part of this company. Then we got him to look up two midgets in a sock drawer. He didn't believe they existed.
Oh my god.
I still have not touched that one. I'm still not going there.
It ranks up there with Two Girls, One Cup. That's all I'm saying.
Oh god. What if we had 2 girls and 1 cup in a sock drawer with midgets?
Two midgets in one cup.
Hello,
veto that
internet!
shit.
Bring us some entertainment!
That's a Happy Meal.
I veto all that shit. No.
So Anthony
Jesus.
regretting Realm of the Mist now?
Not a damn way. No. But the fact of the matter is, okay, first of all, I was eating a plate of nachos when my friend decided to prank me with 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy that visual.
No, it's Two Girls, One Cup. Between that and my, newborn daughter, ruined soft serve ice cream for me forever. Like, I'll never look at a chocolate ice cream cone the same way.
You know what? I do
Oh,
not
awesome.
share this issue with you.
Well, that got me hot. Yes, that's exactly what I want to see. I'm
Like,
just trying to figure out how people get off of that type of stuff for real.
That's what I was just about to ask. Who really gets off on the shit? Like, I get the novelty shock of it. It's like, dude, you got to see this because it's so fucked up. And that's a guy mentality. Like, we take our gym bag to our buddy. It's like, God, this fucking reeks. Smell it. You know what I mean? Like, we do get off on like grossing each other out, but we don't look at this as like erotic in any way, shape. Who fucking decided this was sexy?
Okay, let me just tell you this. When this video came out, well, they did come out with a nice wax, so
Thank you for that.
so that Brazilian wax. I know, it's a nice visual after all that, just to change the subject. I'm good at damage control. It's what I do, okay?
Speaking of which, on YouTube, you can actually have Brazilian wax videos on there.
Uncensored?
Yep. Educational.
I need to look that up. For purely research purposes.
Oh, you just want to see somebody's cha-cha.
Aha.
You know what? That starts off ugly though. Like you need a certain amount of hair for the wax to even catch. So okay, this is such a funny story because actually this weekend, like I was going through stuff that was left here by the person who lived here before me, and there was like some wax strips in the bathroom cabinet, and they're like not opened and stuff, and I was like, well. Since like it's getting like harder to shave and everything, so I'm getting this belly in the way and all this crap. I'm like, maybe I should try waxing. I gotta say, okay.
How'd that work out for you?
Okay, I gotta say, I did better than I thought I would. I got through like one whole wax strip and like probably like a triangle area done, and I was just like, oh God, no. That's enough for today. I'm just gonna shave or nair the rest. But I actually did fucking K.
Well, you didn't tap out. You're still the champion.
There you go. Have you ever seen those videos of like the girlfriend who uses the wax strips on her boyfriend? And
Yes.
they're ripping out like full on fucking armpit hair and his ass crack hair and
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how you know that relationship ain't gonna stand.
The fact that she was still standing was amazing.
I'm not gonna lie,
You
that
know-
just sounds awful. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out butthole bleaching.
Why?
Why is that
do
a
it.
Okay, white folks, you gotta explain this one to me. What
Well-
is a why do y'all bleach your buttholes?
Yo, don't
Why
ask don't ask the white folk because there's a white person right here that don't get it. Like, I'm sorry, that brown eye staying brown, dude.
I mean,
Oh,
it's like I understand you want to look good, but I didn't think like being focused on your butthole this deep was going to be, a thing. I mean, I know this is generation ass eating, but still, like,
why? Okay, I want to know why people do this too. Because if you're gonna have someone eating your ass, it's not gonna matter what color your fucking turd hairs are. It's really gonna matter when they got their tongue going in circular motions, and the next thing you know, they're tongue tied and attached to your butthole because of the hair still there.
man, that's just called a good old rim shot.
But that's what the wax strips are for. You don't need to bleach it. Bleach is to try to
what?
is the bleaching of the hair? Are we like blonding up the hair, or are we talking about?
Oh, you're blotting up the butthole.
Yeah, you're trying to change the pink / brown color of the actual orifice to like I guess match the rest of your skin.
Apparently,
See,
they do
this
some
white
type of
chick
laser
doesn't-
and shit.
What the
This
fuck?
white chick doesn't understand what the fuck this is new to me.
Like, I'm
Some
sorry.
type of laser is pointed at your butthole. You looking like an alien probe when they doing this shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm even looking at that part of a person, I'm not worried about what color it is. I'm worried about if there's fucking turds on it or not. Like, if there's dingleberries, I ain't going anywhere near it. But if it's got a pink hue or a brown hue to it and it's not poop, I'm down. Fine, we're good to go. Move on.
Now I'm like
baby,
trying to
you got a
stand here
pretty
and bend
butthole.
over. I'm trying to like look at my butthole now as we speak, and I'm like, huh, what color is this? It's
I'm
not
sure you have a
reaching.
nice butthole. You'll be okay, girl. Now back to the podcast.
Wait, our listeners need to know what color her butthole is. No.
I'm gonna. Oh God, I'm gonna have to figure that out later. I don't know how I'm gonna get it done, but I'll get it done, and I'll let you know on next week's episode of It Had to Be Said what color my butthole is.
Well, just like any good David Copperfield illusion, just a lot of mirrors.
Okay. Oh my God.
We crossed a line.
I think you broke me.
And you want to join After Hours, which is worse than this.
I'm broken. You know what? This goes against my monk saintly duties.
No, we need you. We can't break you. We need you. You're the only thing that's going to keep us out of, being first in line for the hell train.
Oh,
Break
believe
you,
me,
shake.
I'm going with y'all. I want to be freaking conducting the damn train.
I'll be the little girl with the helmet on so I can't lick the glass.
Choo choo.
I'll be the one shoveling the damn coal.
Oh God.
Mark Zuckerberg right now is listening to this podcast after we've shared it onto Facebook. He's like, them motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Oh.
big shout out to you, cocksucker. Here we are. Ban me now, bitch.
He
Okay,
probably will.
excuse me,
Glad
sir,
it goes
before-
quick.
We're all banned.
Okay, they don't mean that, Mark, because when it comes down to it, we're actually a very wholesome Christian podcast.
No, not Christian. Not Christian. That's against them.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're a wholesome Satanist podcast.
There you go.
Booga booga booga
Hail
booga booga
Satanas.
sacrifice. There we go. Okay, I'm done. I can't do that shit anymore.
We're just sitting here having a wholesome conversation about voodoo.
E for effort, okay? That was pretty
Hey,
good.
that is the African arts. Wakanda forever.
Hell, Wakanda.
But I mean,
Okay, I'm done.
I mean, it's been going on for a while with Zuckerberg, even before Trump took office. But ever since this divide between political platforms since Trump took office, Facebook has gotten incredibly strict with their shit. Yes, I'm attempting to try to get this back on track. You know, and, but
I'll leave it to you.
But the thing is like like I said, they're not clear on their standings, because their standings are so generalized and broad that pretty much almost anything falls under it, and they could just cherry pick what they decide to be offended by that day.
Yes. Here's a really good example. So once upon a time, a few months ago, there was this video going around showing how sex changes were made from a penis to a vagina. And, you know, they were pretty, like, medically standard, illustrated. Hold on, my dog's running away. I'm sitting outside. Lucifer! Come back!
Good, wholesome Satanist group.
His name is actually Lucifer. It's like me yelling at my kid, come back here! What's that?
Damn, I didn't know the cat was that damn evil.
Okay, so this video is like just illustrated. My dog is like just running away in the bushes. Thinks he owns this land. Well, it pretty much does.
He's going to get his butthole bleached.
Oh my god, he's like such a little like baby when like a dog tries to sniff his butthole. Like he'll jump and he'll cry and leave my butt alone.
It's sad that her dog and me have something in common.
I mean,
I think my dog's like slightly homophobic.
I mean, sometimes, you know, you got a little sensitive butthole, you know, you not used to those type of euphoric feelings, I guess.
Intrusions, yeah.
Hey, yo, you know who I found out who eats ass?
Who's that?
Gabrielle Union.
Nice.
Yep.
She prefer whipped cream or syrup?
Wife, aka. Yes, I found that out because I read her book and she was talking about that. She was like, "Yeah, I run my man. He runs me. It's all good. Now what?"
Yeah, see, eating ass is something I just can't get behind.
Well, that's the problem. You got to get
I don't
behind
expect
to eat
no
ass.
girl to eat my butt. Okay.
You know, like lick the balls, you know, like do stuff like that, but it's a butthole. Like, I don't even know why men go down to that area. Like, there's so many other better places to be licking than a butthole.
Well, you know, they want to be a little adventurous, you know, try to see, you know, what you have for dinner the night before, that type of shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Stick a finger in it, okay?
What's the matter, baby corn?
I'll take a finger over a tongue any day in my butt, okay?
Well, you don't want that slimy feeling?
That cool breeze after slobbering on it.
If you're going to be putting your tongue to work, just put it to where it should be working. And, you know, then you've got like a whole area that you could be touching and playing with and fondling and, you know, fisting if you're that adventurous, you know, and like double fingers in the butthole. But seriously.
I'm just going to say this. One time I surprised an ex. We had just gotten out of the shower and we started getting busy with her. I went down on her work. And I knew she didn't like it, so I just fucked with her. So I like did like one quick lick on her ass, and she was like, "Ah, no, it's not supposed to be wet."
What?
That's exactly what she said.
I get that. I'm so happy I have no neighbors nearby, like sitting outside, and like there's like nobody like that can actually hear me talking. Thank fuck.
They'll be hearing you as soon as I post this.
Hold on 1 second, I gotta yell again. Oh, never mind. And there's someone pulling up in my driveway. I believe it's time to go inside.
but we're talking, you know, I'm still blown away by the fisting. Like, we were talking about asshole, and you say fisting, it's like, whoa! I mean,
whatever you into, girl.
Jeez.
I'm just sorry. I don't want nobody punching my intestines.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
like
not
what
in
size?
your butt, okay?
What size poops
Hey,
have
yo,
you been
some
taking?
people do fisty ass though.
I know, right? Like, what kind of
Okay,
what kind
you
of shits
don't-
do you be taking? That's some
You know,
Taco
like,
Bell
maybe
shit
if-
if you could fit that.
A finger or two in the ass, fine. You know, maybe you can work your way up to a fist, fine. But like your tongue doesn't belong anywhere else than where, like the clit. Okay, that's it. That's where it should be. It's where it stays.
I don't know. You gotta tell some of these girls with dookie crumbs in their butthole. All these girls like, I want my ass eaten just like Cardi B.
Ew, Cardi B is so gross though.
Oh my god, you almost make me want to name the episode fucking Dookie Crumbs.
Ew.
Go for it. Congratulations. It's not trademark. You can have it.
Mark Dookie Crumbs.
Oh my god, isn't that the most childish thing I've heard all day?
All right,
love
that's
it.
it. Throw it in the fire. Throw it in the oven. It's done.
God damn.
I think we just extended your ban.
Yep.
Oh no.
If this shit don't get you banned, I don't know what will, girl.
Oh, I can tell you, I could give you a list of things that'll get me banned. So back to that video. There was okay, so hold on, someone just gave me an ice cap. I'm like, yay, praise the Lord, hallelujah, fucking Jesus. You guys are in America, right? You guys don't know what ice caps are?
Don't put Jesus' name after we just got talking about fucking Dookie Crumbs and anal bleaching and Jesus don't want to be a part of
Oh,
it.
wait a minute. You're Canadian?
You just made him
Yeah.
weep.
Oh, sweet. I've always wanted to be a Canadian again. On this one.
Again.
I'm sorry, you're not my first Canadian.
Oh, I'm so butthurt.
You know, there's been a lot of butt stuff going on, okay? I wasn't trying to hurt your butt. Okay, I'm done.
Take my butt out of this. Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, so I posted because, you know, if it's educational and you're actually allowed to post nudity on Facebook and that you could go right to their community standards. You're allowed to post nudity on Facebook so long as, one, it's like post-operation scars. You can post those, like for breast augmentations. You're allowed to post those. Mm-hmm. 2 is for educational purposes. So doing a sex change would be educational, would it not be?
I
Yes.
mean, I guess it would. I don't want to see it, but...
And these were post-op pictures in an article showing how women go from women to men. And they were holding their penises, and they were showing how, you know, you got to click it to give yourself a boner and all this other stuff. So not only, like, it did not violate any Facebook community standards. It actually fell within both categories that are completely allowed on Facebook. That got me banned.
What's funny is it's in that instance, it's not something you created. It's just something you shared.
It was a medical page.
Right. That's what I mean. It's not you didn't make the video. It was something you shared that somebody else made that got you
Yeah,
banned.
those things that I make are like those are Pornhub material type stuff, not Facebook. Like there is a big difference.
As always. I don't know,
And the whole
this
room
one's
goes
complicated.
quiet.
She ain't joking on that. Just to be fair, she ain't joking on that.
Oh,
As far as
God.
anyone knows.
As far as anybody knows. I still can't believe you did that to that teddy bear. Nope.
Huh?
Oh,
You did what to your teddy bear?
I had to
Okay,
push his kisses out of its
rewind.
ass.
You did what inside of his ass?
It's a Mercy's kisses out of that teddy's ass.
You know what? You are cruel to stuck animals. I'm just going to have to let you reflect on your sins, you sinner.
She didn't
You know, for
bother.
an Easter special, I think it's completely fitting for an Easter special.
She never.
I mean, look at
She never told that teddy
look at
bear
that.
that the safe word was Oklahoma.
Like, look at Skylar Grey actually packing her butthole with eggs and putting on bunny ears for this one porno. Hopping around, pooping out the egg, stuffing it back in her butt, hopping some more, pooping it out. That was an Easter special. Porn has no limits.
Where the fuck have I been living that shit like this exists?
Well, I mean, that ain't the first or the last time you hear about. I mean, shoot, they got this fetish where girls like to and guys too. They like to get these like fake long phallic things that lay eggs inside of your butt or your vagina.
I've seen that.
It's maybe some type of gelatin that heats up.
I've seen that. Yeah, the alien egg thing. Yeah.
Oh, so weird. Like, why?
It's supposed to be a fake alien penis or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you birth this egg.
Yep.
I'm choking thinking about this.
Well, that's not where you're supposed to stick it, Venus.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
Right?
an alien impregnating me. This is a hot fantasy.
Oh, no.
Ask those rednecks.
Ew,
at
I draw
trailer
the
park.
line.
Ask those rednecks in the trailer park how that works.
Nope. I don't want to know anything about Cletus and his alien congolinus.
Comicalinus. You mean his penis?
I don't know. It could be his weenus, his skin of his elbow. I don't know how they be working in aliens.
There you go. There's your it had to be said in Tinfoil Hat Society crossover is why are aliens so infatuated with our anuses?
Because the way the Budamus Maximus on this
I'm gonna have to research this later. I'll be on Google on my tablet or whatever. It's like, yeah, you're being tracked by the government now. You like anal play and you like aliens. I see where this
Bill
one's
Cosby
going.
an alien.
Is he? Kanye West is
I don't know
supposed
the
to
way
be.
he looks. That's one ugly dude.
Jesus.
And I'm sorry to think the girls may have drugged themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
You will give me the pudding, or I give you the pudding pop. Go.
I think that girl needs some anal bleaching because she got some jello coming out.
She got the chocolate pudding dripping out.
Oh my god, and those little eggs, I guess we call them tapioca topping.
Oh my God.
That's tapioca that's coming out of her butt.
No, the alien eggs to go along with the pudding.
Oh! I was about to say. Well, damn.
Well, I mean, people listening right now may be trying to figure out how we went from Mark Zuckerberg to bleaching anus to, you know, alien dildos and alien eggs and dildos, and quite honestly, I mean, it makes perfect sense because we all know Mark Zuckerberg's an asshole and a fucking dick. So I mean, now
you know, I just thought about something. I
Yes.
figured out the name of the episode.
go ahead.
Alien dicks and assholes.
Alien dicks and Hershey's kisses.
I say we create a triple-ended dildo, and we name it the Zuckerberg.
Fuck you in every hole.
That's right.
Oh, sure. We might as well just go quad, you know, just kind of make it like a tire iron.
Actually, I'm envisioning that now.
That's like the figurative brutality of how he treats people.
Each tip is different
Hey, yo.
sized.
We need to get the idea.
He doesn't even spit on it first, so I've got no respect for this man.
Yo, we should actually get that idea patent though.
We should. Women be all about that shit, man. You remember those
It'd be good for the swinger community.
You remember those Jazzercise commercials back? Not commercials, videos back in the day, where like 4 women would be like bent over and shaking their ass like in the center of a circle or something like that. You could put that fucker right there. You know what I mean?
That is true. And we
Wow.
have just come up with a porn company. Congratulations, guys.
There you go. You have just been zucked.
Oh, good lord. So how are we picturing this? We're gonna have Mark Zuckerberg as an alien with one of those alien dicks, eating ass, and implanting those eggs with a tire iron.
Dude, that's totally it right there. There's the campaign advertisement right there. Mark Zuckerberg, pants around his ankles like the fucking like the suntan lotion little girl with the dog that's pulling down her pants. Remember that back in the day?
Oh,
You know, bent over. There's Mark Zuckerberg with the fucking, you know, the quad. One of the ends of his quad in his butt, and he's got one of those comic book thought bubbles that says, "There's room for 3 more."
Wow.
and this is where we learn something new about Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes, we touched it. Now we can never go back.
I got Zuckerberg on my hands.
I got Zuckerberg on my mouth, okay?
Man, we went there.
Damn. Is that kind of like a dirty
fuck.
Sanchez?
It's like a dirty Zuck.
That actually might be. You know what? That should be in Urban Dictionary.
Oh my god, yes.
The dirty
definitely-
Zuck.
The dirty Zuck.
It's when you get Facebook fucked by Zuckerberg and for talking shit. No. We could get more creative.
Look, I ain't worried about Zuckerberg. Go ahead, suspend me for a week, whatever. I don't care. I'll tell you straight out, all you Silicon Valley pussies ain't gonna do shit about nothing about what we say, because we're still gonna say it. And if you ban us, you're just proving us right. So fuck you.
And fuck your hat, sir.
Fuck you. I'm black. I don't know what else to say.
That's my get out of jail free card. See, I'm a white male American, so I know I'm the target here. Zuck's listening to me being like, I'm gonna fix his ass. But remember, I got a black guy and a woman on the show.
Yeah, he's diverse. Damn it, he's not racist or sexist.
This is my PC shield.
This man is Captain Jack Sparrow.
I got a jar of
Love it.
dirt. I got a jar of dirt.
Mm.
Oh,
Wow.
we dragged Disney into this.
Man, I ain't fucking.
They're
with Disney. Disney's the real thugs.
Yeah, right.
That's
Like,
Ram of the Mist is under Disney.
I'm telling you, I will bow to my
Well, at
mouse
least we're getting
overlord.
paid.
Yeah. As long as
Shit, I
the
would
front
love
of
to
the
get some Disney money though.
As long as that check is endorsed by Bob Iger, they can do whatever they want to this company.
I was like, you want me to do what, Mr. Mouse? Okay, yes, I will get on my knees for you. Ha ha!
Oh, fuck yes. Now we're talking.
That's it, yeah. That's the way the world
I'm
works.
sorry. For $500 million, I would suck the mouse's dick. I ain't gonna even lie. Everybody's got their number, minus 500 million.
That's it, you know?
Wow, I would do it for
If
less,
he gets
but
me
hey.
500,000 and a ham sandwich, we might have a deal.
Dude, there was a guy in the comic shop today. There was a guy in the comic shop today that was pulling that shit, like, you know, playing the game of like you have a door, 3 doors, and you have to choose one. Door number 1 is eat a shit sandwich and get $1 million for it. Door number 2 is suck a dick for a guy. Suck a dick and get $1 million. And number 3 is get killed. So that's your only 3 choices. Then he started into like other weird shit that I guess he thinks about while he's at his desk. Like, would you jerk off with sandpaper? And of course, one of the other customers hears this conversation. Is like, well, it depends on the grit. Really? Okay.
Well,
Good call.
and then also it's got to depend on the brand too. You can't just get any brand.
It's got to be 3M. 80 grit 3M. Come on, I want a good grip on this.
I mean, you only got to saw some wood on this, okay?
Wow.
About the veins, all that type of stuff.
I guess you could say I was warmed up for this show tonight.
You're doing some real manscaping here.
That's it.
Literally.
Good God.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Fuck it, maybe I should just start having fucking porn pictures flash on the main screen right now. We're going all out anyway, fuck it. Yeah.
All right, we're rocking out with our cocks out.
There you go.
Oh my god. Put Zuckerberg's. Oh my god. So you gotta like have some anal sex porno pictures with Mark Zuckerberg's face on every single one of them.
Yes, every penis picture, you see the full shaft, but the head is covered by like the face of Mark Zuckerberg having a surprised look on his face, like, yeah.
It's payback time, bitch.
with a big old
hot
open
dog.
mouth, like a big old open mouth smile surprise. You know what I mean? Like think back to the Mickey Mouse Club days. Like I'm Marie, ha! You know, that type of face on Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes. Yes.
Hot dog.
God, this
Jesus.
is taking an odd turn. Like,
Are you
yes, it has.
surprised?
no, I mean we've gone off the rails before, but this is really going. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go to limb right now and say this one may rival fuck the FCC.
You know what? Actually, I was really impressed with last week's show. There was 44 views on YouTube last time I looked, which is like double than the episode before that. Which I was like, yes. And you know what? It's still such a small number, but it's like wow, like I doubled in a week, right?
Right.
And it was at like what 4 on Anchor
Yeah.
or something. So it's almost 50 people. So if I could do like 100 listeners this week, I honestly like we got to do a draw or something next week for all our loyal and slightly twisted listeners.
Well, I will say this much: with all the videos that we've been posting from the podcast, and of course all the gameplays, our Facebook page, the Realm of the Mist Facebook page, is getting close to 900, which means
Nice.
we're 100 videos away from 1,000, and I'm fully intending to do a special for video 1,000 for the channel. You know, something that's going to commemorate it with everybody and every show on Realm of the Mist. So stay tuned for that. We're coming real close to it real quick.
I need to get my tux out of the cleaners.
I should make like a little surprise bag for like everyone who listens this week. Like just post your name below and we'll do a random draw and I'll send you a cute little surprise bag of random stuff, like probably some dead batteries.
her used Brazilian wax strips.
I mean, it could be fun. You're like some nonsense stuff, but it's like, you know what? What would you expect? Like, honestly, like people have to comment that too. Like, what would you expect from the people on this doing this show as a gift? Because I think that would be so much fun.
Look, the
I would
100th
have
viewer
said a
of
sock
this
full of
episode.
oranges or some pantyhose. That you can
Right?
live
Look,
in the hood.
Look, for the 100th viewer of this video, make sure you email Realm of the Mist Entertainment at gmail.com and let us know that you are the 100th viewer, and we will send you the used Brazilian wax strip that she just talked about earlier in the show.
I'll have to do some more. It'll be well worth it.
Autographed.
And you'll also get to guest host on the following week's show after you get your surprise bag. I'm sending you guys a clown. Whoever is the 100th viewer, you're getting a clown in a bag, like a Jack in a Box. Oh, this will be so much fun.
The 101th viewer, you just get a bag of dog shit. Oh, they sent me a Zuckerberg.
There was actually someone on Facebook on one of those buy and sell things, and I had to explain to Chris what a buy and sell was because I don't know if they have them in the USA, but in Canada it's kind of like an online garage sale. Like you'll post your used shit, you get and people will buy it from you, or you could say, look, I'm looking for a used dresser, and someone will come along and be like, oh yeah, I've got a dresser, and you get pretty good deals on this stuff and whatnot. And it's just like pretty much you get a bit of extra cash on the stuff you normally would have thrown out, right? So this guy, I was actually posting a bag of dog shit. And I'm not even kidding you guys that I legit saw this and I was like, what the fuck? I think it was a joke, but I mean, if someone's gonna buy it, why would he not sell it, right?
Well, I'm saying like I could see a practical use for it, fertilizer.
Well, that or some people are into some interesting things.
Yeah, see, I gave the clean answer this time. Our monk is broken.
It's the internet.
It's the internet.
Blame
Facebook
it.
made me do it.
It's all that damn rap music I listen to.
Holy shit!
Wow.
I'm laughing, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm laughing so hard I'm sweating.
I am laugh high right now. I'm laugh drunk. Okay.
Oh man, I got the meat sweats just from laughing at some of the shit we're talking about tonight. Like
This
this,
is-
Yeah.
Great.
I don't want my mom hearing this.
this one's a nonsense episode. Like it started off strong. Like yeah, the abuse of power of social media policies, but man, did it derail quick.
Oh, it was so much fun. Okay, so actually, back to that. I actually just thought of something that I totally missed. So, because we know Chris is obviously not a racist or a sexist.
I voted for
So-
Donald Trump. I'm a racist and a sexist.
Grab her by the pussy. So, do you guys remember a little while back, actually, when Facebook was actually banning and removing all content by these female black women in the USA?
No.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them, and so like people were actually saying that Facebook was sexist and racist.
No, this is news to me. Please continue.
You'll have to look it up. So these women were actually like fighting Facebook and like trying to sue them or something. I can't remember the whole story or even like most of the story right now, but they were actually pretty pissed off. They actually have a whole thing now where you can actually write into them about how Facebook was prejudiced against you. Yeah. And they're taking a lot of claims from black women because Facebook has targeted them apparently.
Oh wow.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Again, I'm not surprised with Facebook, their loyalties and what they hold as right and wrong changes like the wind. You know, every other day. Again, that's why you can't follow their goddamn policies and everything. I would not be shocked to find out that Facebook was pulling something like that in some way, shape, or form. And it's disgusting. It really is. But it does it surprise me in the slightest? No, not at all.
It has a history of stigmatization when it comes to black women, and it's not just like white people. Like black people do it too. Like Asian men and black women have always been stigmatized in some way or another. That's what
You see,
category.
I kind of understand that more, like between person to person, you know, because you might have like some differences, and I mean like this whole like overblown racist shit that like liberal government or democratic governments are pulling, and you know everything's racist now, which would like most of us who like remember like 10 years ago are like, yeah, no, we're not racist. Like we've got people of friends of all different cultures and all different heritages, all different ages, and you know, some are men, some are women. So what the fuck?
Actually,
but I mean,
you know what, Anthony? I got a question. I'm gonna do something I don't normally do. I'm gonna exploit your blackness a minute in this question, if you don't mind. Does it bother you that the word racist really is losing its meaning nowadays? Because, like, back in the day, if I, as a white person, called you the N-word, or I said F black people, that would make me a racist, and justifiably so. But, like, nowadays, like, you're a racist if you don't agree with a political agenda. You're a racist if you don't agree with a feminist movement. You're racist if you use the term Islamic terrorist, not speaking of Muslims in general, just Islamic terror, like ISIS or Al Qaeda.
Right.
Like, everything is racist nowadays. Does it bother you that it's destroying the meaning of what the word is? It's particularly because groups like African American cultures, like black people, have suffered under racism so long, and now it's just being thrown around like it's a it's a buzzword instead of an actual call out to somebody who is evil in nature or heart.
With me, here's the thing. I could understand prejudices. That's one thing. Like, to me, when it comes to the whole terminology of racism, it's to dislike somebody because of their race. And there's different ways on that. For instance, okay, when it comes to folks that voted for Donald Trump, I highly disagree with them, regardless if they're Trump supporters or not.
Right.
Yeah. Doesn't mean they're all racist, no. Like, for instance, Dana White of UFC voted for Trump. He already said he was going to vote for Trump.
Right.
And I still watch UFC. I know Vince McMahon is a big Republican. His wife's in the cabinet. But I still watch WWE. Do I agree with their political values? Hell no, I don't. But for me, I don't go red versus blue. I mean, when it comes down to it, DC is basically a gang warfare all of its own. For me, I stand in the middle of it. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck these motherfuckers are going to do for me, do for my country. It doesn't seem like none of them motherfuckers care. Now, when it comes to the whole terminology of racism, I've dealt with racism. I've dealt with guys yelling out the N-word, like, while driving by in a truck here in Midwest America.
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, there's some fools that are still like, they can keep it old school. There's places in Missouri I would never touch foot on. But that had, like, when it comes to the whole thing with racism, I feel like there's a time and a place where, okay, this might be racist as fuck. Like, the lady was messing with the people that were doing the barbecue. That was racist as fuck.
Right.
Oh, the one where, like, you need a permit to have a barbecue here and shit. That one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that bitch is racist. That's a good example of what racism is.
Right.
If it's something to do with, okay, he doesn't have the same values as you. Man, I live in a red state. If I thought every motherfucker that's a Republican was racist, or that being, I know black Republicans.
Right?
Like, seriously. Like, so for me, I was like, okay, you know what? Just don't talk politics with me. Because I don't want the drama. It has nothing to do with him being racist. Yes, I think Donald Trump is a huge ass clown. But I sincerely do. I mean, sometimes he does something cool, and then every once in a while he just seems to go back to fucking shit up. But that's me.
No, to each their own. I mean, Trump was not my first choice for presidency, and Venus will attest to this. I've stated numerous times that, like, during the beginning of the election season, I was all about Ted Cruz. The only thing I knew for a fact I didn't want is I didn't want Hillary Clinton. I sure as shit didn't want Bernie Sanders. And his socialist ideals in the office. When it broke down to the Republican and Democratic candidates being Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, it was kind of like, well, obviously I have no fucking choice. I'm voting Trump because I'm not putting Clinton in office. Yeah.
I mean, shit, it was just like what South Park said. It was either giant douche or turd sandwich.
Right. It's choosing the lesser of two evils. Now,
man, I voted Libertarian this year. I was like, fuck it. I put in my vote so I get the bitch as much as I want.
That's it, and that's the thing. Like, okay, as we've established, obviously I call myself right of center, but for the most people I'm conservative or Republican, if you want to call it that. I consider myself more centralist than anything else, but like you said, you don't agree with Donald Trump. I actually do agree with more of what he's done. I just agree that he needs to get the fuck off of Twitter. But yes. you and I could have a dialogue without fucking hating each other for it.
I mean, let me put it like this: my black ass would not be on Realm of the Mist if you were a racist. Let's just be honest.
Right, you know.
And I'm pretty sure we would not be having a dialogue with this young lady as well. Like, if this were some type. Obviously, we're all coming from different backgrounds, colors, and creed here. So, no, I don't think you're racist at all.
Well, here's the major thing. I think racism is stupid, and I don't just mean because of, like, you know, white people, black people, Asian people, Chinese people, whatever. I mean, we're all one race. We're all the human race. That's the only real race. I mean, we're talking cultures and pigments of skin, not actual race. As far as race is concerned, we're all human. So what is there to fucking hate?
I feel like, to be quite honest,
competition. Yeah, I mean, people hate competition, so
we compete amongst each other. That's one of the biggest problems. I mean, we can go down the darn list of why we're still kind of behind in the whole race issues, like as a society. I mean, think about it. Even if we were all the same color, we're gonna find something. Right. Like, okay, let me ask you this. Here's a good example, and it's a kid's show. Okay.
Okay.
Think of Fairly Odd Parents. The episode where the kid Timmy wished that everybody was the same, and everybody was like a big gray blob.
Okay.
And in the episode, everybody looks the same. Doesn't matter what you look like, you're all big gray blobs. He runs into like this father and son that always talk shit because they got nice teeth or something like that, and Timmy has buck teeth. When he changed them on the blobs, he's like, no, my color is more gray than his. I'm blobbier than him. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we all were the same color. We find some way to fuck it up.
Oh,
that's just human nature. There's always going to be racism, no matter where we go.
We're always going to be competing with each other, right? And like a competition is not always a thing, but when it's like comes down to like the competitiveness of who did worse shit or who is worse as a human being and stuff like that, then we really start to lose our humanity. Because we love talking about, like, you know, it's exciting when someone's like, oh, I accomplished this, like, yay, big round of applause. And all of a sudden, you're a dirtbag who did this, and it's like, boo. And then we hate these people, right?
I'll say this. When it comes down to it, like, I don't think racism is really the problem. It's classism. We're separated amongst the classes, even though people that are from the trailer park or from the hood, they got probably the same stories in a lot of aspects. But a lot of people, you know, have the stereotype that you go in a trailer park, you ain't supposed to be there, you're ethnic, or something like that, even though trailer parks have just as much drama as the hood do.
Oh, yeah,
but you know what, though?
Truth.
You know what, though? I was thinking about this. I was actually talking about this with, like, a few of my friends and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, you know, you could be black, you could be white, you could be Hispanic, you could be Asian, you could be this, you could be that. Like, typically, we all kind of cluster together. And it's kind of like, because at the end, like, mostly for the most part, you know, like, we can have, like, integration of different people living, but it does come down to class. Because when you think about it, like, a trailer park, like, you think mostly white people, right?
Usually. Yeah.
But these people all get along because they're all so similar. They're all, like, at the same class level, like the mentality and, like, social class level, you know, and it's all like, you fucked my uncle and, you know, stuff like that. Okay. Weird ass shit that most of us won't touch. Shit. Right?
I'm my own grandpa.
Oh, now I have I'm missing someone. My heart is just hurt now after that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah, what?
But these people, they all get along because they all have, like, a similar lives. They all have similar pasts. They all grew up in a similar place. So they're all pretty, like, similar, like, mentality-wise. So when you try to, like, go in there and you're not like them, I mean, you're not going to fit in, right? And okay, if you want to think about this like as a non-racial or non-sex, like anything like that, okay, if you're a pothead, you're going to be a lot happier and you're going to flourish a lot more amongst other potheads.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty simple concept. It's not to say we can't go, you know, and, like, be anywhere else or, like, go to like this neighborhood or that neighborhood. No, we can go there, but we're just gonna have to adjust to that neighborhood. Okay,
well, you get a very good point on that, because like, you know, and I can't believe potheads are a perfect example of that, but I'll go with your metaphor here. You know, a pothead will feel better with other potheads, but it isn't necessarily other white potheads or other black potheads. They could be in a group of multicultural potheads celebrating the differences of the cultures, but all happy that they enjoy pot. That's something that the rest of us can learn from, is finding that common ground that we could all celebrate, that we all do or have or enjoy, while at the same time enjoying the diversity of our cultures and celebrating the diversity, instead of trying to force everybody to be the exact same. Wasn't that the ideals back when we were kids, is that we don't celebrate the fact that I'm German, so my German culture and your Swedish culture and your African cultures should be merged. No, we celebrated that your ancestors came from Africa and your ancestors came from Sweden. My ancestors came from Germany, and that was a special fucking thing.
Yeah, I think like, if you want like all this like racism and shit to end, you know, just end the racism. Okay, you know, we're all teachers, so obviously we should be closely, like, we work together. We have similar things going on in our lives. You know, we have the same students to deal with. We have the same life problems. Like, we can overcome these problems together because of that one huge interest. Now we're all potheads, you know, all we gotta do is blaze together, and that's that. We're all alcoholics. Well, we're gonna meet at the same bar every night, every Friday night at this time. It's so simple. Like how I got along with like my far left friend was we both had an interest in Marilyn Manson. Now I don't even look at her as like, you know, like being who she is. Like, she's transgender, she's far left mentality and stuff. And it's just like, yo, Marilyn Manson, that's it, that's all. And then, you know what, everything else is just gone. Like, everything else about us. She doesn't like that I'm conservative. I don't particularly like that she's so far left. But then we're like, yeah, we could go to Marilyn Manson concerts this summer together. And that's all it is to it.
Well, see, I mean, to be honest, though, like, it's a little bit harder than that, especially with history. I mean, I'm just going to be honest, like, you look at everything that's happened, pardon me, that's happened in the last, like, 400 years. This is just something that, I'm sorry, like, for instance, for us, we got to have a discussion on it. That's one of the biggest problems we have in America, is that we have not really sat down and kind of just look at things. I mean, look at the honest truth. Whether it's redlining, whether it's Jim Crow, slavery, any of those aspects, we haven't really had a whole conversation on it. We've kind of just swept it under the rug.
You're not allowed to talk about it.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's definitely the thing. Is like what you're suggesting is a dialogue of addressing the issue. I mean, like, the best way I could, and yes, I'm really dumbing it down, and I don't mean it this way because, you know, in the sense of, like, it's as simple as this, but in a sense, it's kind of as simple as this. Sit down, hear the complaint, and say, I'm sorry, and the problem will be solved. But the thing is that we'll never get to that point. And again, I know I'm dumbing it down, it would be more than that, but I mean, we have people who are either demanding reparations for something that never happened to them, their culture 400 years ago, sure, them, no. Or we have idiots who still believe that those atrocities should still exist, and they're the ones seeming to control everything that the rest of us normal human beings would be more than willing to sit down and do, which is, look, I personally, like, I could like put it this way. I can only go off of my own personal experiences. My family has never owned a slave, ever. You know, we're German immigrants background. You know, German immigrants in this country, man, they did everything themselves. Okay.
And Germans killed a bunch of white people. So.
And Germans killed a bunch of white people. But you know, we're German. My family is German descent immigrants. We never owned slaves, but at the same indifference, it was fucked up what happened to the African American cultures during the time of slavery, during the time of Jim Crow, during the time of apartheid. Absolutely, the civil rights movement was a great thing. People like Martin Luther King should be honored in every which way, shape, or form. But the fact of the matter is that my voice is not going to make the difference. I can make a difference individually, like I can sit down and have a dialogue with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't change the cultures because I and my family line have not been part of the problem. So what voice do I have in that aspect? And two, I'm not a person of power.
Okay,
so
but let me
my
ask
word
you
ain't going to be
something.
a different indifference to anything anyway.
But if you start apologizing though, is that not admitting guilt?
No. I'm not saying like individually we should be apologizing, but I do think he's right. I think the American government needs to sit down and say, look, even though we never did this now, and we worked very hard in strides to make sure that equality is honored and that everybody is as equal as we can, it's at the same time our government did commit atrocious behaviors back in the day to people and people and cultures, and that needs to be not again apology. I'm not talking about like, you know, we're going to give you plane tickets back to Africa for those that want it, or whatever the case may be. I'm not talking about anything like that, but simply a dialogue is like, look, we acknowledge the atrocities that have happened. We regret that the government did that back in the day, and we have made strides as best we can to rectify that situation, and will continue to do so. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in this, Anthony, but like I think if the government actually did that, went public and did that, that would go a long way to healing that.
So yeah, we did that in Canada with the Indigenous people here. Well, the Canadian government did that, but I mean, they never even kept their promises and stuff. And I mean, like, I don't know any single white person and Native person that can't be friends. Like, we don't hold a prejudice against each other. We're like, yeah, you know, it's fucking shitty what the fucking government did to you. And, like, yeah, you guys deserve clean fucking water and stuff. I actually, like, live, like, pretty much on a reserve right now. So, I mean, like, we integrate fine. Like, I was just talking with some Native girl at Walmart today. And the cashier was an Asian, so it's actually like we get along pretty well. But and we would like the government did their apologies and yeah, well, we're gonna make all these promises and stuff. You can't trust your fucking government, okay?
Of course,
they're terrible.
To be quite honest, separatist ideas is what keep us separate. You know, we're one of the only countries that don't have this talk because, like, think about it. Even South Africa had this talk after apartheid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That, and I mean, they reflected on the moments of that. I mean, the Germans reflect on the Holocaust. You want to think about it. They've reflected on that for the last, like, several decades because they don't want this atrocity to happen. If we were to reflect on a lot of the things we've done from the Japanese internment camps to slavery to like the treatment of the Chinese people during the railroads, the railroad rush, the gold rush, and all that, I think we would be better off and not so separate from each other. I mean, there's a lot of things in between the lines that have happened, like in society, that we have not looked at or is starting to get uncovered, and that's why we're at where we're at. I mean, whether it's the police brutality situations that have been going on or what. It's like, sometimes it's not even about race. Sometimes it's more about just what's right and what's wrong. And sometimes I feel like we ignore that fact in America.
Can we admit that in this day and age, and quite honestly, I mean, and even in my lifetime, and I was born in the 70s, late 70s, but still born in the 70s, racism should not be a thing. It isn't so much like black versus white or Chinese versus Indian or whatever versus culturally you want to have. It's really us versus the government.
It's always been that.
It's always been that, but that's really where the source of the problem is. It's not white people holding black people down. It's not black people murdering white people or whatever the case may be. It's the government feeding us this bullshit, keeping us hateful and distrustful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't it just better, like, you know, like you just hang out, you're at a park, you know, you're smoking a doob, some guy, girl, whatever, it wants to be that day comes up to you and, you know, hey, how's it going and stuff like. Like, do people actually like see people like as colors, or is it more just like, oh hey, you're talking to me and you're friendly and you got a nice smile on your face and hey, let's chill, you know, shoot the shit for a bit. You look like a cool person. Like, do people typically? Which one do they typically do more? Or do they look at you for face value?
Look, I'll be honest with you. Living in Philadelphia is very much a melting pot of different cultures and different belief systems. I grew up in a predominantly white. When I first moved into the neighborhood, it was old Irish and German neighborhood, and the Asians and the Jews, Russian Jews, moved in, and I mean it's still predominantly white, but whatever. But people were very standoffish to each other. I mean, the original Irish and German people that lived there, they all knew each other, so everybody was invited into everybody's home. But, I mean, I've been more welcome in neighborhoods that you were supposed to not, you know, as a white person, go into. Like 10th and Warnock and Logan, people in Philly know where I'm talking about. It's a predominantly black neighborhood. It is run down. It has a lot of gang issues and everything else. But I remember there was an old black lady that invited me into her house all the time. Anytime I was down there visiting a friend or whatever, you got to come in, have something to eat. She'd cook me up food. I'd be leaving with a jar of homemade corn liquor. Like, I was treated like one of her kids. You know what I mean? It didn't matter to her that my skin was, you know, lighter toned than she was. It didn't matter to her at all, and it didn't matter to me either. She was a beautiful person. Yeah.
I love those old ladies that are just like, come here, baby. You know, they see your sign and it's like, oh, come here. It's like, okay, grandma. Like, you're my new grandma. Like, I don't, like, personally, like, I know what it, like, I've been looked at, like as an image, like, oh, you're some blonde chick and blah, blah, blah. And who do you think you have a say here? And what do you think you're doing standing up in a room full of men and stuff? Like, it has happened to me, okay? And, like, honestly, it's, like, one of the least things I complain about. Yeah, it maybe happened once or twice in my life. Guess what? These guys were fucking, like, low class, fucking living off welfare, like, 7 of them in a fucking room, a house together, paying rent all together because they can't afford to not live on their own and stuff. And it's like, you know, you really got to take it where it's coming from. And so when I got that, it was like, well... okay, you know, go fuck yourself too. But like, you know, typically when I see people, it's not like, oh, hey, you're this color or anything else. Like, it's just like, hey, you know, I treat anyone the same way I would treat anyone. But I mean, like, nasty people, they get a nasty reaction, right? Which isn't really normally the case with anybody ever. And I'm sure we've all felt prejudices from, like, groups of people. I'm going to say trashy, low-class, fucking fuckboy type of man. Yeah. I've been disrespected by them. Whoopee shit. Do I go around and blame it on every other man? Hell no, because, like, 90% of men can act like gentlemen. These little boys, no, they count for 10% of the population. And, you know, maybe I just...
races.
It does.
It's exactly it. I mean, the 90% of the black people that were ever harassed by white people, it was some scumbag white guy who does not represent the whole entire race. The 90% of the white people that ever been harassed by black people, it's by some thug and not by some normal representative of an African American culture or black person's, you know, society. And the problem isn't the fact that there's so many thugs in the black community or so many rednecks in the white community. It's the fact that these little percentages are causing the most ruckus.
Out.
They're causing the most ruckus.
So when it comes to the terminology of thug, man, I will say, in some cases, like with certain people, you gotta be careful with that shit. Cause like I feel like that's just another way of calling somebody a nigga on Fox News. I ain't gonna even sit here and lie.
Well, I don't mean it that way, but
I know you don't because
the
like,
wannabe gangbangers is what I was referring to.
Oh my god!
The ones that act like they're still part of a '90s rap video.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the
shit.
90% of the 90% of the rest of them are looking at them like, what the fuck? Like the 90% of us white people that have to deal with these redneck motherfuckers. We're sitting here, we're like, what the fuck?
I will say this. I'm sorry, but every fucking race has their gangs. You got
That's
the
absolutely
whites
true.
with the KKK and the neo-Nazis. You got the blacks with the Bloods and Crips. You got the Asians with like their gangs, where there's the Gondal, the Triads, the Asian Boys, or there was another one in California that I know of. Mexicans with the MS-13, and beyond that, I mean, we can go down the list. Everybody has a gang like affiliation if we were going by race.
Right.
But you see, like, they're like the potheads of like the sober community. So they like all kind of like get along. Like it doesn't matter what color or gender or race you are, any of that. You know, there's always going to be those stoners that are always going to get along with the stoners, and they're all comparable to the stoners, but they're not comparable to the sober people or the church-going people in any circumstance or any race or anything like that. So, like, why are we comparing stoners to like sober people?
Well, see, I think
don't know. I'd rather talk about doing a bump of coke or something like that. You know, ruin my life.
Well, see, that's we're proving a point. Not only going back to the subject matter at hand of Facebook and their policies, we've proven something in this podcast tonight. I personally, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we've proven something that like most of us have already known, but I guess they needed a reminder of it, is that you take government out of the equation. You take the stupidity of people like fucking Mark Zuckerberg out of the equation, and most human beings are not going to be allowing themselves to be trivialized and separated into different brackets of society. We can all get along, and we can all have a civil conversation and a dialogue and a friendship based on nothing. We don't even need anything to be based on, without needing to bring in the fact that we're black, white, Canadian, American, Christian, Muslim, whatever. It can happen if you leave people the fuck alone and let them be people. People will find a way of coexisting with each other. We're doing it right now in a dialogue.
If everybody got along, there would be world peace. Charles Darwin.
Yeah, well,
if we're gonna do smart quotes, I'm gonna use my favorite all-time Mark Twain quote, which is fitting to what Venus is going through right now. Censorship is telling a man he can't have a steak because a baby can't chew it.
Oh, I actually have some cool quotes right here that I just saved on my phone.
That's a classic.
Hold on here. Okay, so relativism no longer means your claim to truth is no more valid than mine, but now means you may not claim to speak the truth. That's John Piper. I don't know who he is.
Okay, I got one. Everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Mike Tyson.
He's not wrong. He's not, especially if it's Mike Tyson hitting you in that mouth. Yeah, forget that plan.
Right?
You know he has a podcast?
Does he? Oh my God, really?
Oh, it's great. It's the greatest podcast ever. I watched all the episodes. It's actually very entertaining because he's getting stoned on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then
I actually watched his TV series on Netflix.
Oh, you talking about the Mike Tyson Mysteries?
Yeah, that one.
I love that show.
That show's fucking great.
How have I not known anything about this? Mike Tyson has a mystery show on Netflix.
Oh yeah, it's a cartoon mystery show.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, instead of like Scooby-Doo, he has a pigeon.
Look, fuck this podcast. I need to go watch
And he has
Netflix.
an adopted Asian daughter, and he's got a ghost.
I ain't got time for bird sex. I wanna fly. That was actually the song he was singing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he's what? He's like some human reincarnated into a pigeon body or something?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, Chris, you have to watch this.
Yeah, you need to watch this podcast. Hot boxing with Mike Tyson.
What is
All
it?
he does is smoke weed, tell stories, and he talks about the time he did DMT and how magical it was.
Oh my god, what's it called again?
Hot boxing with Mike Tyson.
Oh, I'm so watching that tonight.
You got homework. You got Mike Tyson homework. You better punch it out.
I will fucking review that shit. Like right now I have
Mike
Stephen
Tyson
Lynch.
was like God.
Right now I have Stephen Lynch going through my head, the singer comedian who told a story about like Mike Tyson and because he does a line in one of his songs. Because he was singing a song about like bad tattoos, and he talks about the fucked up thing on Mike Tyson's face, and he's like, the only person I'm scared of ever hearing that song is Mike Tyson. He goes in this whole entire diatribe, but it led into him mimicking Mike Tyson reading Shakespeare.
Oh god!
Wow,
that's literally what I got going through my head right now, seeing a podcast of fucked up stone Mike Tyson. Like reading fucking Romeo and Juliet.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the most entertaining podcast I've ever seen. Hell, he got Rashad Evans on that motherfucker getting high. I was like, huh? It was like, sometimes you gotta do the weed and do a little TNT, you do the toe, and it makes you ecstatic.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways.
Well, I was going to go into another topic tonight, but we're already reaching like the hour and a half mark. So should we go into Scumlords tonight, or should we wait till next week?
Hit it. We got a half an hour.
All right. Dirty Nasty Scumlords. I'm sure we've all dealt with them. Do you guys have any personal experiences with your Scumlord?
Maybe you should define Scumlord first.
Scumlord. Oh, I actually have an actual translation of Scumlord from Wikipedia.
My ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, right. I can think of many different things that I would classify as a Scumlord, but let's
or Slumlords. Sorry.
Slumlords. Yeah,
I call them Scumlords because, it sounds better than Slumlord. But a Slumlord, or slum landlord, is a derogatory term for a landlord, generally an absentee landlord with more than one property who attempts to maximize profit by minimizing spending on property maintenance, often in deteriorating neighborhoods, and to tenants that he can intimidate.
That's like my brother's apartment complex.
Speaking as a apartment maintenance mechanic for over 20 years, in general, that is my trade. I've dealt with a lot of fucking landlords like that, and they are the absolute worst, because not only do they treat their tenants and their property like shit, but their staff as well. People like myself have had my hands tied more times than I care to count, where I've had to deal with angry tenants because I couldn't do something for them because I didn't have the budget or I didn't have the landlord's approval. And of course, the tenant can't yell at the landlord, so guess who they target?
You.
You know what I mean? So I cannot stand these types of fucking people.
So, I'm actually going through this right now. Yeah. So, I moved out of this apartment, this shitty fucking apartment, okay? There's 12 units in there. Guess how many apartments were rented? One fucking unit. My unit. You walk into this building and right away, you can see water damage down the hallway. And you can smell mold. This place is moldy. It's got roof damage, water damage. But when I first moved, I was a little desperate to find a place. So I took the first available thing that I could get because, when desperate times call for desperate measures. So I wasn't planning on staying there for very long. Right. So I had to pay a month's rent in security deposit. So the security deposit is supposed to come back to you when you move out. No damage done to the apartment, whatnot. Living there, when I moved in, the carpets were fucking filthy. This building was probably made in the 70s. The carpets were never cleaned once. And I could totally verify that because I went over them with bottles upon bottles of carpet cleaner. They supplied me with a carpet cleaner to clean their carpets. Didn't pay me for my fucking labor. And they wanted me to pay to actually clean them myself with like the cleaning products and everything, which is fucking expensive. It was over $100 to clean these carpets, which were never even fully got cleaned because they're that filthy. And as anyone knows, like mildew will rise from the carpets if you start like making them wet and whatever, which actually happened. So after living there for like 7 months, I finally got to move out. And it's been a week now that I've been moved out. So the landlord has 10 days to return my security deposit. Mm-hmm. The property manager refused to come look at my apartment to do an inspection when I moved out. She's like, I'm busy painting. Just come see me. Tells me that this check will be written with my security deposit back to me. So that was Friday. It should have been in the mailbox. So today's Tuesday, so it's been a week now. So we call, like yesterday, we messaged them. Well, I messaged them and I'm like, well, where's my security deposit? And then I get a call from my landlord. So I'm dealing with the property manager. I've like never dealt with a landlord before. I had a bug problem in there. There was earwigs. There was fucking, oh my God, I saw a centipede one time. Normally I've never seen a centipede ever or like anywhere. So red ants, fire ants, like all over the place. And I'm like having a baby, like, no, you can't fucking live in this shit, right?
Right.
So I'm like, so where's the security deposit? The landlord calls me and he's like, oh no, I have to send an inspector from 6 hours away to go inspect the place because you didn't file this paper. And I'm like, what fucking paper? So I'm explaining, your property manager didn't ask me for this paper. She would have asked me if it was important, right? No, she just told me everything would be fine and dandy. So I have to call this landlord-tenant act. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do about the security deposit? So like, call him and start filing a complaint. So I'm like, okay. So I call him and I'm like, oh yeah, you've got 10 days to do this. And he's yelling at me and not being compliant or anything. And I'm like, well, fine, just so it heads up, I'm filing this complaint to get my money back. And he's like, yeah, I'm filing one too. And I'm sitting here dumbfounded. I'm like, you're filing one for what? For not fulfilling your duties, for not maintaining your building, for not doing your job and your inspection, for making me wait because you don't want to give me my money back? So that's the type of slumlord I've got to deal with.
Hell to the no. Couldn't do it.
See, I've heard many stories like this from many of my former tenants and everything else dealing with something. And I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to throw companies under the bus that I've previously worked for. But let's put it this way: I didn't keep my tenure in that company very long because I don't believe in that type of business practice. But I've heard numerous stories that are very, very similar to this over and over and over again. And it's absolutely disgusting. Because first off, I mean, we're talking about a place that people live. That people raise families in, that elderly live in, that can't take care of shit for themselves. I was the type of, maintenance guy, for an example. I had on one of my properties a lot of elderly people, and some of the things that were not required of my job was, like, changing an overhead light bulb. That was the responsibility of the tenant. You're using the light, you burn out a bulb, you change the bulb. But I'm not going to have an 80-year-old woman get up on a step stool to change that bulb. I'll go and do it for him. I didn't mind.
It's courtesy. Yeah, I'm totally going to out this guy now. So this guy lives in Edmonton. For anyone who's looking for places to rent, I suggest you go elsewhere. He's got quite many properties. This building should be condemned. This building has a bug problem, a mold problem, and he's still renting it to people. Refuses to do any repairs on it. His name is Feige, and he owns Alpha Plaza in Edmonton. Avoid him, avoid him, avoid him.
I don't blame you.
Well, Anthony, you said you had some experience, or you knew somebody that had some experience like that.
Oh, my brother. First day I moved him into this damn apartment. These motherfuckers don't even have an outlet for his fucking oven.
Oof.
Wow. Is that even an apartment?
They
or
had
is that like some
ghetto
closet?
rig. I'm telling you, they had a ghetto rig or freaking extension cord and plug it across the counter from near the sink and shit.
Which is dangerous in its own right.
Yeah, just like
That's some Harry Potter shit right there.
I was like, you fucks forgot to put an outlet for the damn stove. Are you serious? The carpet was nasty looking. Their toilet was busted for about 4 months before they finally got it fixed. It turned out there was a Spider-Man action figure clogging up the toilet.
Oh,
Wow.
damn it, Peter.
Yeah. Like bullshit like that. Just like half-ass doing shit or taking forever to do it. And then
Yeah,
it's
you
just
know
like, well, figure it out yourself.
And the cost of living for these apartments is ridiculous. I mean, even a reputable apartment complex, like a one-bedroom apartment in the United States, a lot of places in the United States, will run you $700-800. 2 bedrooms up to $1,200 or more a month.
Really?
And they can't
We
turn
pay
around.
way more.
And they can't turn around and offer decent services.
Nope.
No,
That costs extra.
I've been ignored by my property manager. I never got my landlord's full name. I even messaged my property manager for his full name, telling her that I was filing a complaint against him. She'll not return my text messages. She would not answer the phone calls when I would phone her. She sure as hell managed to get the carpet cleaner to me the same day I asked for it, though, so her apartment could be clean so she wouldn't have to do so much work. And, like, it's been ridiculous. She's been around when rent's due, and that's about it.
Oh, yeah, don't be late on rent.
Right?
Being late on rent is punishable by, another 3 months you're on the lower end of the maintenance list.
Yep.
In a building that nobody lives in, except for one tenant, like, why do you even have the one tenant? You're renting out other places. They're nicer places. They're more well maintained, and you're renting out literally, like, places that are going to make people sick, places that, like, if you have, like, kids or something, and you have an earwig infestation or red ants, like, your kids could get bitten. That's a lot of, like, hospital visits for, like, red ant bites if they get, like, bombarded by them, which they always come out, when it's warm and it's about to get cold again. They'll be walking all over the place like they fucking own the place. But there's no insects there. Well, I could send, I've sent millions of pictures, like, here's another earwig, here's another earwig, here's some ants. And they expect you to pay for that all by themselves. Like, and you know what? Like, I'm not like a broke person, but when it came to like that, and winter comes around, you're not going to want to be moving and everything, right? So, like, I can understand people being in situations like this, and like, it's not fucking fair to anyone.
Well, see, with infestations, I don't know how the maintenance department apartment complexes are in Canada. The ones I've worked for, like the best example I can give is the last apartment complex I worked for. We didn't cover that. Like, if you had a mouse, I'd give you a mouse trap or glue pads, and we would put you on the list for an exterminator to come out. We had an exterminator come out like once a month. You know what I mean? That was the best I could do because I wasn't the exterminator. But
in 7 months.
Not in 7 months. In 1 month. Like the exterminator came out the first Wednesday of every month. So if you had a problem, I'd give you, like I said, I'd give you some glue traps or give you some mouse traps, and I would set them up for you. It's not like I would just give them to you. It's like, well, figure out where to put them. No, I'd set them up for you, but that would be the most I could do until the exterminator came in, and then I would bring him in and let him do whatever it is he does. You know what I mean? So sometimes in those types of scenarios, you do have to wait a little bit, but like 7 months is ridiculous.
In 7 months, I had to go pay for my own raid to fumigate the place. I had to have like ant traps out. So when I got my dog, knowing that my dog could probably eat these ant traps and they're poisonous and he's going to get sick and die, I had to remove them, which was fine because like the snow pretty much just melted here. But like, yeah, so I had to pay for all that, then carpet clean the whole place, pay to have like everything like washed, like all my bedding and everything had to be washed because you can't live on something that you just sprayed Raid all over. Like absolutely no help. Even during the winter, I think the walkways were shoveled maybe once a month.
See that's
so you want to.
That's a safety issue. Like when it comes to the infestations, the rodents, the bugs and stuff of that nature. Like I know that for my experiences, most of the apartment complexes they paid for the exterminator. That was part of your rent. The only time it fell onto you to be an extra expenditure, it was for things like if you had a bed bug issue, because that 9 times out of 10 is that you didn't take proper care of your stuff. That's on you. But that's neither here nor there. Most normal extermination services were covered under your rent. We provided an exterminator. But as far as like shoveling and salting walkways and driveways, that's mandatory of any apartment complex because that's a safety issue. And most landlords are very cognizant of that because if somebody slips and falls on their property, they're liable.
Exactly.
That's a lawsuit to them. That's just straight stupidity on your landlord's part to not take care of that.
Yeah, so this guy is trying to tell me now that he doesn't owe me a security deposit on top of all this. So I actually have like the rental agreement and the the condition paper of how the apartment was when I moved in, and I sent it to him because it actually says right in the rental agreement that he has if he refuses to do an inspection and check the condition of the apartment after I move out, I have 1 week to do it myself and send it to him. And that's like legally signed. So I'm like, motherfucker, you're not going to win. But I wonder how many other people you do this to.
Every single tenant he has. That is a typical play that most slumlord landlords will play. Is they will nitpick, they will withhold paperwork, they will do whatever they can to not have to return that security deposit. You could leave that apartment in better condition than you rented it, and they would still find some way, shape, or form. Whether again they nitpick the hell out of like little pinholes in the wall because of pictures, or they drag their feet on the paperwork like this guy did to you, to be able to turn around and get a legal claim that like, look, policies weren't followed, so I don't owe her anything. They don't want to give you the money back, and they played the game to make sure they didn't have to.
But the policy is, after 7 days of him not doing it and refusing to do it, I'm entitled to do it myself. Give him a copy of it. So I texted him all of it. I screenshotted all of it. And I'm like, I expect my check by Friday. Meanwhile, I'm still like I'm getting all my papers together and everything. Like it's a long process to have to file this stuff. But so if anyone's going through this, you can actually file this. It costs $75 to file. Like in Alberta, I'm not sure about the other provinces, but in Alberta, it's $75 to file this. You can make claims for every payment that you need. So all the rate and stuff that I had to pay for, I'm claiming that. For the heating wasn't working in the winter. I had to use electric heating. Heating's supposed to be included, but using electric heating in the colder months, my heating bill is probably like $30, $40 more in these months. So I'm claiming that as well, and I'm showing the differences between September when it was warmer and February when it was colder, because the heat was not working. So these are all little things that you can claim. I'm actually at like more than double than what he owes me.
That's what you need to do. Unfortunately, that's what you need to do, and that's the only way. That's the only way you can really stick it to these types of people. Like I don't know, like in Missouri or anything else that they have anything similar. But there used to be in the news stations here in Philadelphia. They used to have investigative reporters that actually went after specifically slumlords and would confront them and expose them for how they treat tenants and how they pull these little like smoke and mirrors and distraction tactics to be able to, maximize their revenue while treating people like scum, and letting them live in their own filth and every things of that nature. drink a beer for people who remember the older podcast. I think that these are the types of things that, like, not only should local media newses be doing still, but that's the only way you're going to be able to stick it to this guy. This dickhead landlord, is you have to expose him for it. You have to hit him where it hurts most. That's his wallet.
But you know what? It's your money. So
right.
If anyone's ever having issues with this, just Google Landlord-Tenant Act. You can specifically say, I actually had to specifically say receiving the security deposit. Also, on top of having a security deposit in Alberta, which I'm actually learning because I was from Ontario, is that with your security deposit, he's also supposed to deposit it into a tax-free savings account of some kind. So you actually get interest on your deposit when you actually leave. So this dude's just digging a hole even deeper. And, I'm just like tired of the fucking bullshit. Absolutely tired of it. 7 months pregnant, move out of a fucking shitty place like that that's making me sick, causing me to have asthma. I have to pay for my own inhalers, which are like $125 for one of them, and like another $25 for the other one. So, you get depression from mold. You get sick. There's so many things wrong with this, and you don't want to give me back my $600. Well, fuck you, Feege.
Sounds like a tight-ass asshole.
Right?
It exactly is. That's somebody that's living high off the hog, and it's your problem. In his mind, it's your problem. As long as I get my rent check, I can give a fuck less about you and your issues. And that's poor business practices. I mean, that leads into business practices in general. I believe in the honest businessman. Capitalistic gains and stuff of that nature aside for a minute. The honest business person treats his employees with respect. He treats his customers with that much more respect. He's a leader. He's not a boss, or she, modern day. When you're pulling shady business dealings, when you're skimming off the top, when you're, maximizing profit with minimum expenditure, in the sense of like you're not paying what your employees are worth, or you're not providing the correct and proper services that your business is supposed to provide. When you're shortcutting and jury rigging things rather than properly installing or repairing, these are the marks of a slumlord. These are people that do not deserve to be in business. These are people that do not deserve to profit from their business, because they are profiting off of the misery of others.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
That is not the way business is conducted. That is the way you rip people off.
Yeah, no. So to anyone who has to go through that, find any way you can, keep receipts for the smallest fucking thing. In Ontario, your landlord is, if they provide hydro, they actually have to provide you with light bulbs. Literally. So for every light bulb you end up buying, and I know you think it may be all fine and dandy when you move into one place. Trust me on this now. You want to keep receipts for everything, because as short-term as it may be, or, as good as you think it may be, there's always that one fucking slumlord who's going to fuck you over.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, in the rental department, it's becoming more and more and more common.
Unfortunately, yeah. Watch your back, people.
Watch your back. It's better to buy a house. Mortgages are actually cheaper than rent in most cases. It is better to buy a house and deal with your own shit than to deal with these scumlords anymore.
I kind of disagree. In Canada, with taxes and stuff on your house, it's 42% in taxes. When you buy a house, you pay taxes. You pay land taxes. If you sell the house, you pay taxes. And if you happen to die, your family's paying 42% in taxes, because it is an investment. It's oh my god,
inheritance.
What is it? Yeah, it's an inheritance, and you have to pay an inheritance tax. So in the long run, you would think it would be cheaper. I actually know like really, really successful people that are like bosses at like huge companies and stuff, and they'll still rent because at the end of the day, it's so much cheaper because your landlord is still supposed to pay for these things, many of these things, and you don't get stuck with huge taxes and huge this and whatnot. I mean, for like $600, you might find a one-bedroom apartment, depending on where you live. For I've seen one-bedroom apartments for like $1,100 in some places, and they're like, that's not even Toronto. That's like Sudbury, Ontario.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame the hipsters.
I'm
serious.
You can't leave it there.
Here in Kansas City. The Midwest is one of the cheapest places to live. Okay, here in Missouri, people come out here to live out here because it's cheap as fuck. Man, we've got so many hipsters. All the black neighborhoods are turned white with like knitted hats and tight ass red pants.
What the fuck?
And then all the like, for instance, there's a taco spot called Tiki Taco, right?
All right.
I didn't see one damn Mexican up in that motherfucker. I didn't hear no Juan Gabriel. I heard fucking Jack Johnson. What the hell's going on? I'm scared.
Like, do people think that white people just naturally have more money? Serious question.
I mean, yes.
If they do, I'm not. If they do, I'm not white.
You're just light skinned.
Yeah, I'm just very light skinned. I have that Michael Jackson condition.
You're like Steve Martin in that one movie. What was it? The Jerk or something like that.
Yeah.
Where like he didn't know he was white.
Jesus.
It's like I found my rhythm, mama.
I'm still waiting for my privilege card in the mail.
Get your black card. What you're going to have to do is you're going to go file with the bureaucracy of the Black Caucus, along with.
I had a friend who lived in the neighborhood who was black, and he was a dude who loved basketball. He loved soul food. He used to invite me over to watch basketball with him and drink 40s of oldie. Like, okay, it's gonna sound stereotypical, but it leads to something that kind of fits to what you're saying now. And he'd be making like collard greens and neck bone and shit like that, and I'd be sitting there slamming 40s of oldie with him, and sucking that bone dry and piling it in. And one day he just looked at me. He's like, "Motherfucker, you were born the wrong color."
I'm just trying to picture your ass drinking a 40.
Dude, that was my shit back in high school, man. You remember Crazy Horse?
Oh, hell to the nah.
Yeah, this dude's German. He trusts me. He can drink. Germans can fucking drink.
I know. I've been to Germany, girl. Shit. Oh, motherfucker. Drink like it's a damn sport.
Right?
There's football. There's fucking handball, rugby, a lot of winter sports, but drinking is number one. Damn motherfuckers.
Well, you know this. You've been to Germany. The shit we drink and call beer is what they feed the kids. That's daytime beer while they're working.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, hell, the driver can have a beer while he's driving.
Mm-hmm.
The driver's allowed to have one beer while he's driving. He could have that shit in the cup holder while everybody else is drinking in the fucking car.
I'm moving to Germany. Fuck this shit.
As long as you ain't drunk, cool.
I can stalk straight, officers.
It's like,
get off my stick.
I'm not drunk, God.
Oh my god! Like, if only, right?
God, it ain't no joke. Like I think they're like adult with alcohol. They're adult beer. Like, I think it actually has whiskey in it.
Oh, they got ones that they're made in whiskey barrels and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you think the Germans got it though? Get some beer from a monk, from a monastery. Them motherfuckers know how to make some beer.
Oh my god, I had some Chinese rice vodka. from like a
Oh,
Chinese
God.
friend of mine, and holy shit, man! I've never seen like grown ass men puke so much in my fucking life. Like this shit was like, whoo!
I'll tell you.
I would
Oh,
not
that's
touch
that
it.
slip up and creep up on your ass type of alcohol.
Oh
I've
yeah.
I've got a story on that. I got a story on that. I don't know if you guys remember a type of actually a Canadian liquor, a Canadian whiskey called Yukon Jack.
Nope. I'm too young for that shit, but I've heard rumors about that motherfucker.
That Yukon Jack has two settings. I'm sober and I'm dead. There's no in between. Like, you know, most alcohols, you're sober, you're buzzed, you're tipsy, you're drunk, you're fucked up. Yukon, there's no middle ground. It's literally I'm drinking, I'm fine. And I talked my friend's little brother into drinking with us, and he's sitting there, he's slamming. He's like, this shit ain't doing shit. He ain't doing shit. He's sitting there for an hour. He did like 6 shots.
Oh, hell no.
And the rest of us are sitting there, we're sipping it because we know what this shit does. He's like, this ain't doing shit. And all I said to him, and I was like, stand up. He's like, all right, man, I'll stand up. He's acting all hard. Like, I'll stand up. I got this. No problem. He stands up. He's face first on the fucking floor. Out.
J.O.
Wow.
Game over. I'll tell you
Yo.
what, I'm sitting on a bottle of fuck you up right now. My last apartment complex I worked for, the contractor was Polish, from Poland. And he had imported in some Polish vodka, and he gave me a bottle of it. Now, you want to talk about some fuck you up vodka? Yeah, that shit straight from Poland.
Why was he trying to kill you?
Yeah.
You know, one of my biggest regrets in life was drinking with a whole bunch of Turkish people on a wedding night.
Wow.
That was the worst fucking hangover of my life.
Oh, so okay, so I don't like you guys are like sounding tough as like men and stuff, and you're fucking German liquor and everything. What was it this one time? I stole this bottle. I thought it was like some really cheap ass alcohol because I've never seen it before, right? And it turns out to be
stuff.
it turns out to be this stuff from like Punta Cana or something. And they stopped making it because it was so fucking harsh. And oh my god, I wish I could remember where it was from. Anyways,
Hell.
I can't even remember what it was called. But this shit fucked up 4 grown-ass adults on like a 26er. We only finished half of it, and we were just fucking gone. Me and my girlfriend and some other people. Okay, but the worst shot I've ever had. I was like partying at this bar for like days on end. And me and like these 2 other girls go into the bar one day, and we're like, we're rough. We're in rough fucking shape, okay? We can't even like stand upright. We're like, you know, at the twitchy part, all fucking ghostly white and everything. And we're sitting there like, yeah, I'm just gonna die today, you know, fuck this shit.
Oh, God.
So we look at the bartender, and we're like, she's like, oh, what's wrong with you guys? And we're like, look, well, we're gonna do something today. We're like, the first one of us to have a seizure wins. And she's like, yeah. So she's like, what the fuck? And then this one of my friends was like, okay, look, you pick an alcohol, and I'll pick an alcohol, and we'll mix it into a shot, and like the first one to drink it wins. So we had Fireball, we had Jaeger, and we had tequila all mixed together.
Oh.
And we're like, here's to seizures. And the DJ ends up coming by, and he's like, oh, hey, girls, what's up? Grabs this fucking shot glass, slams it back. He's like, huh, what's in that? All of a sudden starts twitching out and shit. We're like, oh, fuck. Like, we're definitely having seizures tonight.
Oh,
and
God.
I honestly suggest that to anyone. Like, that just made ours feel so much better. We lasted the whole night. We lasted till the next morning again.
Yeah,
And...
Look, you were talking about like we're trying to act all tough and manly about like slamming our beers and like, you know, Boilermakers, and I'm thinking about like the first Thor movie when he's getting drunk with the scientist dude, and he comes back to the trailer with the dude over his shoulder. He's like, we drank, we fought, we sang songs, he did his ancestors proud. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, you know, we're talking about like men being all tough and shit. I knew a girl who introduced me to a drink that was fucked, and she would drink any one of us under the table. Like, she wasn't no joke, and she introduced me to this one where we would go to a 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee, right? Like a normal Slurpee. and we drink like a quarter of the cup out, the big gulp or whatever. And so you have 3/4 of a cup of a Slurpee, and then you refill that shit with fucking Jack Daniels and St. Ides Special Brew, the Fruit Punch Special Brew malt liquor. Mix that shit together and just go to town. And I mean, this is a fruit death. It's just the best way I can describe it.
That sounds like heartburn.
By the time
Why do y'all hate y'all liver so much? Y'all making me think of. I'm tasting my 20s all over again in my mouth right now.
and it tastes like Mad Dog 2020, don't it? Admit it.
No, it tastes like Natty Light, even worse.
Oh,
tastes like regrets and fucking lost memories.
Lost memories.
Lost
memories. There's some memories I wish I could forget, like getting so piss ass drunk with my band at the time, and in my 20s, I was like 22. And I came out, they were hanging out in front of the apartment complex drinking, and they were looking for more beers and shit. And I run out, and there's a busy street out front of the apartment complex. It's called Roosevelt Boulevard. And it's 4 lanes of traffic, right? Mm-hmm. I come out in nothing but a jock strap, jumping on fucking moving cars, screaming, "I am the Lizard King."
I'm sorry, I choked on my vape here. Why the... So alcohol gets you naked.
I was fucked up, but the funniest part about it is like I got done and I jumped back and I hid in the bushes and shit like that. The cops showed up. They were harassing my friends who were sitting there drinking, looking for the guy calling himself the Lizard King.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Right?
Okay. It was 2008 New Year's. I was only 19 at the time. Okay, I decided, it's New Year's. Let's get fucked up. Let's get lit. Let's go ahead and party. And I decided, my dumbass, I was going to drink some jungle juice, slam 2 beers.
Oh my god, some jungle juice? Fuck that.
It gets worse. I ended up running into this like emo couple. We started talking and shit and vibing. It's like, yo, dude, we found this bottle of Jack Daniels in the garage. I was like, oh shit, I love whiskey. Let's go ahead and start just pounding it. I'm talking about we killed the bottle in less than 30 minutes.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. And then I continued to drink. So all I know is we had to go because they started fighting at the party, right?
Right.
It was like right after the countdown, people started fighting and shit. I don't know what the hell was going on. So I leave with my friend. I don't remember anything after I got in the car.
Oh.
Yeah. I woke up, all I had on was a damn t-shirt. My drawers were missing. And I realized I had pulled an exorcist in my friend's bathroom. All on the can.
Fucking, I was 15.
And he had to help me get in the shower.
I was 15 years old, and my house that I grew up in, the backyard was connected to my friend's backyard. And in his backyard, he had a 3-foot pool. So me, my friend, and another friend of ours were sitting there, and the other friend challenged me to go under the table in a pool in 90-degree weather in the middle of July. And we whip out a bottle of 100 proof vodka. We polished this fucker off in about 20 minutes. In a pool in 90-degree weather. I have no memory of how I got over the fence, back to the house, back into my room, and passed out in my bed. Now, when I was 15, I had really long hair, and I was very egotistical about my hair. My mother knew I was drunk as shit, right? So I woke up in the morning, and I do the push-up, and of course I got the dry heaves and everything else. I do a push-up, and I just watch all the hair fall onto my pillow. My mother shaved my head while I was passed out drunk and left the hair for me to find. Now, here's the thing. We figure I won because at least I made it home and got my head shaved. My buddy made it to my friend's front yard and passed out. An ambulance had to be called, and he had to be taken to the hospital to get his stomach pumped.
Damn.
Wow.
But yes, my mother knew I was drunk, and rather than fucking waking me up and grounding me or roughing me up or anything else, she shaved my head and left it there for me to find in the morning.
Oh, she did like some like Italian mafioso type of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I know when she's
That's
learn.
white moms for you.
I don't know. Black moms. Let me tell you about black moms right now. My mom would
Okay.
beat the shit out of me, and plus on top of that, she's a former Marine too.
Oh.
Wait till I was out the house to start drinking shit. Fuck that.
See, my mother was
Wow.
Coast Guard, so I know where you're coming from.
Okay, so you already know.
I know.
Not kill us with paper napkins, okay? I wasn't playing with that shit.
So growing up, you knew hospital corners when you made your bed, right?
And then on top of that, it's like I believe me, I tried my mom several times on the course of my teenage years. I got a dresser drawer thrown at me for talking smart. So, fuck that. No.
I'll tell you what, old crotchety German grandmothers are nothing to be snarky at either, man. When I was a teenager, I thought I'd be a smart ass to say something asshole-ish to my grandmother, and I hauled ass out the back door. Now, picture, if you will, the back door lines up perfectly with the stove that she was cooking on, right? So I haul ass out the door, and I'm running out the backyard, and I'm about to jump the fence, and I get pegged in the back of the head with an iron skillet. She winged that fucking thing and caught me in the back of the head mid-jump over the fence.
Wow.
my grandmother had aim.
My grandmother was like the most redneck, like my family is like the most redneck family you can imagine. Like, and my mom was like super religious. So my parents were super strict growing up. I didn't even have a chance to do half of these things you guys are talking about. There was no way I could have gotten away with the most of it.
Well, the thing is,
I get it.
we were trying to be rebellious, and it just didn't work.
I tried to go to like sleepovers at my girlfriend's at certain ages, and it's like, you're not going out anywhere. Like, there's devils happening there, and there's fucking devil, like the horror movies, and they watch porno and blah blah blah. And those parents, they smoke cigarettes, and you're not going there. And I honestly couldn't do fuck all as a teenager. And like normal teenage stuff too. So I mean,
Look at
God, I
you
wish. Oh, exactly, right?
I mean, for real. Like, my mom would have been like, oh, you want to go over to your Aunt Kathy's house? Okay, bye. Peace. Deuces. Love you. Get the fuck out of my house on this one. She would have been like that, but she was like, hell, I get the house to myself. I can finally dance naked in the damn house. My own house. No kids.
What?
No, my family wasn't like that. My family was like, anytime I tried to go over to my friend's house or go to like band practice, what, this house ain't good enough for you? You can't spend time with your family? You can't spend time here? You always got to run out the house?
Oh, you're an only child, right?
Uh-huh.
That sounds like that's like oldest sibling syndrome. That's how parents like act to their oldest kids. Like, oh yeah, it's not good enough. Blah 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 blah. Like, fuck off. Whoops. Fuck off, mom and dad. Like, maybe if you didn't try to guilt trip me or manipulate me into staying here, maybe I'd want to stay here. But no, now I'm just gonna sit here and resent you for the whole fucking day now.
Look, I'll say it straight out. My mother was the queen of guilt trip. You know, she still is. She still knows how to try to guilt trip. And of course, I'm smarter about it now. But, like, you would swear my mother was Jewish how good she is at guilt tripping people. Like, the stereotype of the Jewish mother is my mother. You know, to a T.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? And she is bad at it. Like, when straight up, when I told her I got divorced, that I was getting divorced, that my wife cheated on me, and that, you know, my marriage was over, and I'm sleeping on a couch right now, and blah blah blah. You know, she, growing up, to set the scene. Growing up, I was told my father passed away when I was 6 months old from a brain aneurysm, which was true. but that he was the love of my mother's life, and that's why I never had any other brothers or sisters. She never, she did get married again, but like, she never, she never wanted to have children with anybody else other than my father. And that was the role model I had growing up. This is the type of person I wanted to be, just like my dad, like dear old dad, what he would have been had he lived. I finally tell her about my marriage falling apart, finding out that my wife cheated on me and everything else. During the lowest time of my life, that's when my mother turns around and says, "Well, your father did it to me." The truth comes out. He fucking he didn't care that I was his kid. He didn't believe I was his kid. He was cheating on my mother with some floozy blonde, and they were divorced when he died. He left her while she was pregnant. You know what I mean? And that's the type of person my mother was. During my lowest time, that's when she decides to throw that shit at me. You know what I mean? That was the type of person my mother was. So it's or not was. She's still alive, but
Yeah, I feel you, man. Because like
that's why I only talk to her on holidays.
That wasn't shit. So my mom, I'm thankful that I at least had one decent parent. Like, I mean, she raised 2 kids by herself and shit. So for me, like, she did the best she could. I am not a perfect son. Sometimes I'm a fucking terrible son. But I'm thankful that she loves me unconditionally, even though I am a fuck up. I ain't gonna even sit here in front.
Oh yeah, I'm not trying to sit there. I don't want a pity trip like my mother's some monster or anything else. I've put that woman through hell, especially during my rebellious stage.
Shit. I came late.
I can't front. I put that woman and my grandparents through complete hell, torture, and I've ever since tried to be like the better son for it and everything. And she's not perfect, but she's my mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have such bad blood with my mom, and like I will never forget. Like a few years ago, my dad passed away from cancer, and my mom was the most fucking nagging fucking cunt ever. Like nothing he did was good enough. Like the guy was like 20 years older than her. He was like 7 years old when he died. But him working was never good enough for her. Whatever house he always worked. He owned businesses from the time I could remember. The vehicle he bought was never good enough for her. The house he bought was never good enough for her. Meanwhile, this woman doesn't work a day in her fucking life, right? So she like my dad would have said, she nagged him to death. But so a few years after that, like I was dating this one guy and he happened to pass away. And so instead of, like my mom even like telling me like, stuff like, oh, like anything to make me feel better, she comes and she hugs me for the first time in 10 years. And she said, "Oh, I know how you feel. I lost my husband too." And I'm like, what the fuck? Really? Like now's not a good time for that shit.
I lost my husband too. What do I even say to that shit?
Right? Yeah.
What do you even say to that? That's kind of fucked up.
I love this guy. Like he actually I was talking to his mom. She actually gave me the engagement ring he picked out the day before he passed away for me that he was going to give. So yes. And like, I was going to see him in 4 days after that. Like we lived like a few hours apart. And like my mom used to just tell my dad all the time how much she hated him and blah, 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 blah. And, it was like, wow, like literally nagged this dude to death. And you're going to tell me that you know how I feel when I actually loved this dude and you like never showed this guy appreciation in your life and you're going to compare us now? That's the type of mom I had, narcissistic, all about her, blah, 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 blah. I guess that's why I'm probably more like, don't be that nagging cunt. Because it's always in the back of my head, like, motherfucker, you killed my daddy. Well, not really, but okay. Nagging killed my daddy.
Yo, it sounds like you need a hug, girl. You want a hug?
Yeah, right.
Yes, please. Maybe some marshmallows.
I'm a hug all the way to Canada. Shit.
Aw.
He'll bring the marshmallows. I'll bring the pickles and ice cream.
Oh yes, party time. But yeah, I don't even.
You are expecting. Congratulations.
I am. Thank you. Oh no, my third.
What?
Yeah, my third.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, so to make matters even worse about my mom, okay, and honestly, I'm going to say my mom is like the biggest fucking bitch in the world. So I haven't even spoken to her in years after like my boyfriend passed away. And so I'm talking to my little brother. Like my little brother's like 15 years old and still has to like put up with her, right, and live with her. And so he wanted to come see me for the summer. So at first she's like, well, I'm not going to send him by himself. On like a train, because I'm like, he could have a vacation on a train even, it's pretty cheap, like he's going across the country, it'll be safe on a train, right? So she's like, oh, I'm not sending him alone. And I'm like, huh, well, you can always send him by plane. And what's that?
I got child escorts for planes.
Kid's 15 years old. He could sit in a chair.
He's 15? Oh, shit, he can fly by himself.
Yeah, he could sit in a chair for however, like 15 minutes it takes him to fly over there.
Well, it would be like between 4 and 7 hours, which, like at 15 years old is fine. And then I look back on it and I'm like, oh, you weren't sending him alone. You wanted me to invite you. And I'm like, this is why you don't get invited places. Because of how fucking conniving you'll act about it. Like, I'm not sending him alone. Why don't you just say you don't fucking want to go? You want to come too? No, you can't say that. Well, okay, you can't tell the truth about what you're trying to say. So how the fuck does anyone communicate with you? So, but I'm pretty sure she found out that I'm having a baby and she's not going to be a part of its life. So I'm pretty sure she's pissed off about that.
And with that, I'm playing Fall Out Boy and crying in my sleep tonight.
Right. Right. This took a weird turn.
I mean, seriously, we talk about mama and daddy issues and shit too. This shit done turn into Jerry Springer.
I'm the type of girl that doesn't have daddy issues. Like I've got mommy issues, and like I know so many girls with that, and I think we're probably worse women than the girls with daddy issues because we don't take bullshit like most girls with daddy issues, and put ourselves out there and like scary situations and stuff. We're like, hell no, motherfucker. My mom did worse than that.
No, I just realized we're the generations of parental issues in a whole.
Right?
I mean, hell, even the generations before us. I mean, you think about it, if we go from Generation X and beyond, there has always been a parental issue in most cases.
And it's led to anal bleaching.
For instance, I'm Generation Y, technically. So I'm considered a millennial, from the first cusp of it. And, yeah, so... I think that I'm a millennial. Territory.
I'm a millennial too, and you want to hear something funny? Is how millennials get bitched about by actually the baby boomers and Gen X, especially the baby boomers. They're the one that bitch about us the most. But guess what? They're our fucking parents. Baby boomers are parents to millennials who are bitching about us. Well, you didn't do a good enough job of raising us, I guess, right?
I mean, hell, my mom is she was born in 65, so I think she's Gen X. I'm not sure.
I'm Gen X.
1964, I think, is the last of the baby boomers, and that's where my mom lands.
My mom was 1955, so.
Baby boomer.
Yeah. And I'm Gen X, 77.
Well, we could just continue all night, eh?
Yeah, we could. But you know what? I think maybe we should save some of this for an after hours. I think the alcohol conversations and the mommy and daddy issues would fit for after hours a lot.
Yeah, this shit is.
It definitely would.
I'm just.
What? I feel that pain too, and I'm like, I just want one glass of wine right now, just one fucking glass of wine. I'm like, well, maybe if I do half a glass of wine, it'll be fine. But
well, when you poop that kid out, we'll do a drunk episode.
Fucking right, we will. I'm gonna pop some mushrooms while we do that, and give me a good old time.
Right. Oh my gosh.
That's
Yo, this has been fun. I'm glad we've been having this insightful conversation, having dialogue on different things. I have respect for both of you for, keeping your keeping, you know, keeping an open mind of what I've had to say, and I value what you guys have had to say, and this has been cool. Seriously, I'm glad that we can have these talks, even if we are different on how our upbringing was, our values and stuff like that, and still be cool at the end of this chat.
Hey, you going to be joining us tomorrow for War of the Stars when we talk about Ray? Might as well try. It's like a buffet, man. Try a little of everything.
I may be able to. It all depends on what time I get done with this. Cause I gotta go to the wrestling promotion I interviewed. No. I'm sorry. That's Thursday. I might be able to join. We'll see.
There you go.
Okay, that's Thursday. I'm thinking. I had to think about it for a minute. Man,
Well, if you want to join us Thursday, we're doing the Tinfoil Hat Society.
Okay, so what is the Tinfoil Hat Society?
It's conspiracies and stuff. I decided to go on some more educational stuff to build up to more conspiracies and stuff, more relatable stuff, so we don't seem like complete fucking pinheads way out there and stuff. But we're doing conspiracies, aliens, government cover-ups. I don't think there's anything we don't touch between this show and that show. Maybe we'll do some anal probing.
So this is gonna be the Michael Jackson of episode. Okay, that's too soon. Shit.
What is Michael Jackson?
How does go Cosby or R. Kelly? We'll go there. There we go.
What does Michael Jackson and Kmart have in common? Little boy's underwear half off.
Why?
I quit. Throw this podcast away. Throw it all away.
What,
Done.
too soon? And I was making that joke. I was making that joke when he was alive. It's okay.
You know what? Just burn everything.
Sanitize it.
Hey, y'all remember Lorena Bobbitt, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, dude. She threw that dude's dick in the field. It looked like it was a little beaten up. Maybe a couple stray dogs gnawed on it and shit, and he ended up doing porn.
Why didn't Lorena Bobbitt get acquitted?
Why?
They couldn't get the evidence to stand up in court.
You ain't shit for that one, sir. Go to your room. You ain't shit for making me laugh at that one either. Shit, I ain't shit either for that.
On that one, I think it's time to close this one out.
It is. Thanks for joining us tonight on It Had to Be Said. We said more things than we probably should have, but we'll be back saying more things that we probably shouldn't next week.
After we get off the Facebook ban.
Oh, I'm off the Facebook ban in 1 day, so I don't know. By Wednesday night, I should be back.
Just remember, this is posting tonight.
Oh shit! Oh yeah. Is it okay if I go ahead and plug my tags?
Yes, please.
So you can find me on Facebook at Venus Chan. Sometimes Solar Nova. I haven't logged into Solar Nova. That's kind of more of a backup for my 30-day bans that I get. So I really haven't found it necessary. It's only 3 days, so I can deal. I'm working a lot on my Instagram, Venus Uncensored. You can always email me at venusuncensored@gmail.com. And I'll be back Monday with Realm of the Mist, and next Tuesday with It Had to Be Said, and Thursdays with the Tinfoil Hat Society.
All right.
Ooh.
And Anthony, tell everybody where they can find you and what you do.
Okay. For me, Anthony Anthem, a.k.a. Mr. A.k.a., you can find me on Instagram at Anthony Anthem, or you can also go to the Delivery Bros 816 podcast page for Instagram, and on Twitter, Delivery Bros 816, or Delivery Bros KC up on Facebook, where it's off the hook and it's a good look.
Right on. And don't forget to check out Delivery Bros podcasts right here on Realm of Mist Entertainment, which, by the way, is exactly where you can find me anywhere there is Realm of the Mist Entertainment. I'm here on Realm of the Mist Podcast. It Had to Be Said with Venus, War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast, and so many other shows. You can find us here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share, and comment sections. Make sure you check out the website in the description section down below. And, of course, you can find us anywhere quality podcasts are heard.
And also, one last note. If I get 100 subscribes, I'll send nudes. No, I won't.
only if you like autograph them and like put a lipstick kiss on your dick, then I am in. I'm
gonna pull a Markiplier tasteful news calendar.
Like they're actually licking taste, like the scratch and sniff. But
if we get,
I wasn't gonna go that far. Damn.
I don't
think anybody needs to taste me.
If we get 200 subscribers on Realm of Mist Entertainment's YouTube channel, you will get an autographed picture of Anthony's dick with lipstick.
We're gonna need a big print for that.
Nice.
You remember those Michael Jackson posters, the life-size Michael Jackson posters that would hang behind the door? That would be Anthony's dick.
Okay, that's it. Ladies, get on this shit. I want at least a picture of it.
Oh my.
I have like bare walls, so I've got lots of room to work with.
Believe me, you don't want that. You're gonna put an eye out.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm done.
to bar
Y'all should have put me on this shit.
To bar your
Well,
own
you join us
phrase.
next week?
I would love to join next week. This is fun as fuck.
Perfect. So we'll all be back next Tuesday talking shit and at least making ourselves laugh if no one else is.
And just remember, it had to be said.
No, it didn't.
Really had to be said today, didn't it?
It probably shouldn't have been said.
It's too late. This
No
is in
going
their
back.
eardrums. They're bleeding from their eardrums now, guys.
That's it. Yeah.
YOLO.
I will go on record. I think this one beats fuck the FCC.
Yes.
Anthony, if you're not familiar, go to the Rumble and Miss YouTube channel and click on the After Hours folder for podcasts, and it's right there. Look for Fuck the FCC. It's an episode, to give you a little description. We used to broadcast on an internet radio station, and we used to censor ourselves for the radio station. Like, we allowed cursing and all that, but we would bleep it out. And apparently one word slipped through, the word twat. And somebody got offended, and I had to give a public apology
Are you serious?
for them being offended. Yes, and
For twats?
for twat. And what happened to that apology basically became fuck the FCC. So enjoy.
Twats.
Twat. Yes.
Yeah, twat.
You know how much shit I have said twat, especially in my youth? Twatting, for those who are female getting cock blocked. Twitter is twatter as well. That's a
Yes.
nickname for it.
Yes, it is. Twatter.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe, of all the words, twat, I could have understood if it was something like the pink hole of death or something like that. That would have made sense. That's what my brother calls it. He's gay. So that's what he calls it, okay? So,
Wow.
the pink hole of death. In a way, he's kind of right. But that's a whole different story for another day. 'Cause that will change lives, niggas.
Well, we'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll be back with some more twat.
I quit.
Why didn't the Three Little Pigs go in some kind of flat share scheme?
Does Jesus get to choose which wine he turns it into?
Why don't Sims have the upper body strength to climb out of a swimming pool?
And does everybody really want to be a cat?
I'm Will Baker.
And I'm Alex Prescott.
And if you're the type of person that overthinks these deep philosophical questions, then Think to the Brink is the podcast for you.
From Disney characters to song lyrics, debates to social etiquette, tune in every week for your dose of paralysis by by analysis.
All topic suggestions are welcome. If you can think it, we can overthink it. Think to the Brink. Available on all podcast platforms.
Hey everyone, this is John Tolley, inviting you to check out a Star Wars podcast. Each week, me and my co-host Christopher Stolley discuss the news series surrounding the movie franchises in the world. Every Wednesday at 8 Eastern, as it looks far, far away, right here on AFM and wherever fine podcasts are heard.
You know, when you need CD, vapes, or new mod, go to Vape Scorpion. 185 Avenue, PA 19116, formerly known as East. They have all your needs, all the equipment, all the news, and while you're there, down, enjoy a bring and hang out with cool people. So you're buy a locally made juice, score 101915. Oh yeah, and make sure you let them know that Realm of the Mist Entertainment sent you.
He said that she said, how dare you say that? That's offensive. Well, someone's gotta say it. It had to be said with Venus. Catch the live show Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the recordings at any time. Guest shows weekly. Listener, beware. Mature content, sexual content, trigger warning. Do you dare say it?
Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm here to tell you about Realm of the Mist podcast. Realm of the Mist podcast, we talk about all the great entertainment things from movies, music, books, comic books, and many, many other forms of entertainment, as well as politics, current events, and just general humor and having a good time. If you're looking for a podcast that is right up your alley, look no further than Realm of the Mist podcast here on Anchor.fm or where fine podcasts can be heard.
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We are right next to Northeast Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, albums, and CDs, graphic novels, other knickknacks, and, of course, comics. Established in 1985, we are your go-to store. Come by and say hello, and say that the guys from Radiocast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
Three-eyed turtle? Is that alright?
What the fuck is a three-eyed turtle? Who wants a mustache ride?
Are you tired of the same old podcasts with no humor? Well, join us for After Hours, where everything is funny, at least to us, on Anchor.fm and where quality podcasts are heard.
How the fuck did we get on this?
I don't know.
Fucking FCC started this shit. It's their fucking fault.
Hey everyone, this is Dak.
This is Liam.
And this is White People Shit.
We are a bi-weekly podcast.
Whoa. Maybe you're bi-week. I'm straight and strong.
It means twice a week, you douche.
Oh. Yeah, listen to us twice a week. On White People Wednesdays, we talk about gay stuff, zombies, superhero sex positions.
And on Featured Peep Fridays, we interview the Featured Peep of the Week.
Yeah, like a fuck free.
Just search WPS Podcast and look for the white dude in red pajamas.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
We believe in equal opportunity humor, where all things can be made fun of. So if your feelings get hurt and you're offended, you can always
eat a dick.